Okay, we're live. How's it going? New reaction vid. Let's do some reacting. Present. Share screen. Now I hear myself. Hang on. Still haven't learned all this stuff. I mean, I have, but I'm still bad at it. Is that good? I don't know. Do I always have the background like that? Do I? I think I do. Maybe I do. How you doing, Alicia? Have you had a good day so far? And are you ready to learn 8 surprising things in food that aren't actually vegan, but you didn't know? I'm ready. We've got L on the screen, vegan gays, but this isn't a vegan FTA video. I'm ready to learn. Just what I needed to know. All right, let's check it out.
Out for things such as eggs, dairy, and the flesh of animals. But here are 8 surprising things that aren't vegan that you didn't know about. Number 1, carmine, the sneaky.
Hang on, L. That's a lot of assumptions. How do you know I didn't know? Let's back it up.
Vegan that you didn't know about. Number 1, carmine, the
Didn't know.
sneaky red dye.
I don't know what
Sometimes things can have a really vibrant red tint, all the way from sweets to things such as wine. Well, they might be getting that color from crushed up insects. That's why you may be confused when you see that a wine is labeled vegan. It makes you think, what's in it that would make it not vegan? Sometimes literally insects. While it might give this nice pink shade, it's not vegan friendly. Number 2, L-cysteine. The fur or fat.
Oh man, this is going to make things so complicated. I knew about the red dye thing. That's pretty tough to navigate.
Feathers of animals crushed up.
That's not tough.
To give foods fur or shade, it's not vegan friendly. Number 2, L-cysteine.
L-cysteine.
The fur or feathers of animals crushed up to give foods like breads, wraps, that kind of pull. It's really gross to think that fur and feathers are in your food when they're killing so many animals. They're seemingly trying to make uses of their other body parts. It's not always the case that it is made from fur or feathers, so people will often check with the manufacturer to see what the process actually is. Number 3, non-vegan vitamin D3. Some vitamin D3, especially in things like cereal where it's fortified, is actually from lanolin, which is an excretion on the wool of sheep. If you've ever had the privilege of stroking a sheep, if you felt their wool, you'll feel that it's kind of waxy. Yeah, well, they extract that stuff and use it to make vitamin D3. Now, there are vegan vitamin D3 sources, often from things such as mushrooms, but one of the cheap sources is indeed not vegan. Number 4, casein. Casein is a protein found.
Knew about casein. The vitamin D3, I knew that some of that wasn't vegan, but it's very easy to get vegan vitamin D3 if you need that. Some other doctors recommend that you just go in the sun. And then others say that, the sun is harmful because it's UV rays. But I have seen what sounds reasonable to me, that if you just get a decent amount of sunlight, but you're not out there scorching yourself, that's probably okay. I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to me. Just like RFK, I am not a doctor. And you should not get your health advice from me. You should get your ethical advice though to stop using animals.
Animals' milk, and it's put in a lot of products. Worryingly, it's even put in some dairy free cheeses.
Definitely a lesbian on the screen, Kane. Number two. Yeah, I don't the number two one was what's up, Felix? Yeah, processed cereals. Yes, but I feel like some of the way to avoid this is, at least in America, and I don't know what it's like in the UK and other places, some of the way to avoid this is if it says vitamin D, as like one of the ingredients, just look for that V, that certified vegan label on the products. Most of the products I buy have that.
So definitely look out for that vegan label
Ah,
if you're getting dairy-free cheese, because it might not actually be vegan. You might want to check
see?
because it might come under other names such as sodium caseinate, but it can be in things like, as we said, dairy-free cheeses or breakfast bars. Number 5, shellac. If you've ever wondered
Yeah.
why your sweets or your candy or even sometimes your fruits look so waxy and shiny, it might be because they're covered in bugs. This glossy finish comes from a resin produced by the female lac bug.
Hang on. You guys, I've got just the thing for show and tell. Just bear with me one sec. I'll leave it playing.
Number 6,
And we'll get back.
isinglass. Love your craft
Oh,
beer?
isinglass.
Well,
Yeah.
you might want to check out what or who it was filtered through. Isinglass is a substance derived from fish bladders, and it's often used in brewing to filter out yeast. You can find an abundance of beers and wines that are vegan friendly. You just have to look out for those that are not. There are apps you can use in order to find out whether or not your alcohol is vegan friendly. And luckily, they're getting better and better at labeling and certifying. Number 7, gelatin. Gelatin, the wobbly texture that you find in things like gummies, is actually the skin, the bones, the joints of animals who have been killed. As we said earlier, the
Let me
industry
back it up. I need to
there
learn
are
about
doing
isinglass. I
to
know about
filter
that.
out
That's what they
meat
put in
by
beer.
out what or who it was resin produced by the female lac
Hmm?
why your sweets or your candy.
All right, here's what I got, guys. You guys ever had these smart sweets? Hang on. I can't read all this stuff, but carnauba wax, right? And you just look at the back where it says plant-based. Not all this company's stuff is plant-based. I think they have one that has gelatin in it. These are so good. Only problem with these products, very expensive. Ridiculously expensive.
Even sometimes your fruits look so waxy and shiny, it might be because they're covered in bugs. This glossy finish comes from a resin produced by the female lac bug. Number 6,
Jeffrey, what's up?
isinglass. Love your craft beer? Well, you might want to check out what or who it was filtered through. Isinglass is a substance derived from fish bladders, and it's often used in brewing to filter out yeast. You can find an abundance of beers and wines that are vegan friendly. You just have to look out for those that are not. There are apps you can use in order to find out whether or not your alcohol is vegan friendly. And luckily, they're getting better and better at labeling and certifying. Number 7.
Yeah, I don't drink anymore, but back when I used to drink, I did have an app that you could just look up and it had thousands of beers. I forget what it's called. Maybe y'all know. Now that I'm not drinking, it's just not important for me to have that. We also have a vegan brewery near where I live, which is pretty awesome. And I know what you're thinking, like, aren't most breweries vegan? A lot of them are, but this one is actually vegan AF. Like they are straight up vegan animal rights people.
Gelatin. Gelatin, the wobbly texture that you find in things like gummies, is actually the skin, the bones, the joints of animals who have been killed. As we said earlier, the industry kills so many animals, they try and find ways to profit further and use their body parts. And gelatin is one of those things. There is a plant based alternative to this, and more companies are actually using it. For example, agar agar. But it's
No
just
gelatin.
disgusting to think that there's these lovely sweeties, candies,
Yeah.
often aimed at children as these lovely innocent things, but they are made from the literal bones of animals. Just
Yeah.
not so nice, tasty, or innocent as it would seem. Number 8, natural flavors. These natural
And dog food. It's like the same nasty shit he put in that.
flavors that are listed as natural flavors can be plant derived, but they can also be animal derived. It's a blanket term that can hide all sorts of non vegan ingredients, ones deriving from even animals such as beavers or, for example, dairy products. You can contact a manufacturer to find out if a given product is actually vegan friendly and find out whether those natural flavorings are animal derived, or vegans are really good at this. Someone's probably already done it before you. And there you have it. Are you surprised by any of these mystery ingredients? Let us know down below. If you knew all about these already and you are indeed a veteran vegan, already aware of just how all these ingredients can ruin a good snack for you. Don't worry, there are plenty of plant-based alternatives out there. You just have to find them. And once you've found them once, you're sorted. Keep navigating the world of food labels like a pro, and don't forget to go vegan for the animals, because they are who. It means everything too.
Oh, what the? For real, Felix? True story, at our provincial run liquor store, a fellow vegan asked them to find a vegan wine. The clerk quickly found one and then told her that it pairs well with red meat. What the? Oh, man. What's wrong with people? What is wrong? So there's the link to Vegan FTA. Definitely check out that channel and give that video a like and a subscribe, and do the same for Vegan Gaze, who was the one speaking. All right. Y'all know I had to do it. Mel and Steve had to do it because I didn't react to this one. I might as well just have Mel and Steve. I mean, I might as well call this the Mel and Steve Appreciation Channel at this point.
Being violent towards animals, you have the choice
to
continue to be violent towards animals, or you have the option to stop being violent towards animals and be vegan. What are you going to do?
I'm probably good. So basically,
How's the volume, guys?
Some people out there that will deliberately kill an animal in an indirect way and not kill it in a proper way that it should be.
Right. So you think that there's like a good way to kill animals, and
there's not really a good or bad way around it.
There's not a bad way. So wait, you think that there's a good way to kill animals, and people who are killing animals in a bad way, people killing animals in a bad way make the people killing animals in a good way look bad. Is that what you're saying? So tell me, how's a good way to kill an animal?
Not that way.
Tell me. You can like fictionally make up any scenario you want in your head.
Well,
you tell me.
If I was a farmer and I wanted to kill an animal, I wouldn't kill it in that way.
How would you kill an animal?
I love animals as it is, and I've grown up with a family that have farm animals themselves, or I have friends that have farm animals.
How do they kill their animals?
Not that way.
How do they kill them? All you're telling me at the moment is not that way, but you're not telling me the way that they kill them. So how do they kill them?
With a gun.
With a gun?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so lovely. With a gun. You know, I play Cyberpunk lately on my channel, and I often use a gun to mow people down in that game. And it doesn't look peaceful. I'll tell you that. It's not a peaceful process. I know I'm speaking like an expert now because I play Cyberpunk, but by the way, I have done a cool interview today, which should be on my channel maybe tomorrow, maybe the following day. I now have to learn a new editing software. So I've got DaVinci Resolve, and we'll see how that goes. Depending on how long it takes me to learn that, will be how long it takes this interview to publish. Not that the interview itself needs editing, but I want to create some cool social media clip from it to promote it. And that's what's going to take some time. But I'm going to have to learn that new editing stuff. Hopefully it won't be too hard. We'll see.
Is that kind?
Not really, but
Is it humane?
no.
Is it benevolent? Is it okay to do that to them? So there's no good way to kill an animal.
Very true point.
Yeah. So I'm coming to. Do you think that we should respect animals?
Yeah, we should.
Why should we respect them?
Because they're living organisms that have been walking on this planet longer than us. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. And if the world doesn't want to hear the truth for what it is, then
I agree with
I'm
you.
sorry, plug your ear holes, because I'm a very truthful guy as it is.
Well, that's good, because this is exactly why we're here.
Because
We're exposing the truth.
I'm not being horrible, yeah, but animals have been walking on this planet longer than we have.
Right, and they're sentient beings. You agree with me that they have the ability to suffer and feel pain,
Yeah.
and we should respect them. And we should care.
Scientists have proven that birds have a genetic gene that link them back to the dinosaurs, or link them back to the Stone Age, or
Yeah, but the key to this is that they're sentient, right? They can feel emotion.
yeah,
They can feel pain.
Yeah,
So how, when we don't need to kill them, do we justify killing them?
you can't justify killing them,
Right.
because there's no, like, I get that there are people out there that will protest, but where will that land you? That will land you in a pair of handcuffs in the back of a police car.
Depending on
Not necessarily. Protests can involve anything from intense civil disobedience, rescues, all the way down to holding a sign. Like just holding a sign up.
what style of protest you do.
I have seen some of the.
But do you think that we shouldn't speak up for the animals? Do you think that we should just let this continue?
I think the majority of people around the world should speak up for animals and just put it out there that animals.
What's up, Mobius Maximus? I don't think I've seen that name in here yet. How was your day? How was all of your days? I asked Alicia, but I want to know everyone's day.
Have feelings, and they've been around longer than we have.
Oh, also, I have a few videos pulled up here, but if y'all have anything specific y'all want me to react to, let me know. I don't know how long I'm going to stream for, so I don't know if I'll react to something that's super long, but we'll see. Maybe my maybe I'll change my mind on that.
So let's stick with the animals have feelings and they're sentient. So how do we justify the exploitation that they face in the food system, in sports, in betting, in science, in fashion? How do we justify all the levels that we exploit animals when they are someone having a subjective experience who feels pain? How do we do it to them? How do we justify it? Is it okay to do it, or should we stop?
Should just stop.
Should it stop?
Good answer.
What about yourself? Are you vegan?
At the moment, I am.
At the
What's
moment,
that mean?
Because I've seen the way people treat animals. So
That means
I'm
no.
eating
No, he's not vegan.
less of it, and I'm eating more organic foods, like
Oh,
like vegan, like the vegan
here we go with organic again, guys.
options.
like the vegan alternatives, you mean?
Yeah, the vegan alternatives.
Okay,
to
that's
what I
good.
eat.
That's
When
good.
It's interesting you say I'm eating less of it, right?
I used to eat quite a lot of
Right.
meat and animals.
So you're saying you're eating less. Do you think that that is okay for the animals that you are still eating?
No,
Right. So do you think that eating less is okay, or do you think that you should just stop?
just stop.
Right. What are you going to do from now? Like, maybe no one's ever held you accountable before. Maybe you've never held yourself accountable before. But from today, when you walk away from this conversation with me, you have the option and you have the choice to continue to be violent towards animals, or you have the option to stop being violent towards animals and be vegan. What are you gonna do?
I'm probably gonna become a vegan. To be fair, it's better for
How would you be talking to Steve? And both he and Mel are getting so good at this. I don't think you can walk away and not be vegan. It's impossible. They're getting too good.
me, and it's better for the animals.
Always keep them like the first thing you said is better for you, and then it's better for the animals. I would say that's the wrong way around because you're not the victim in this. We must keep the
But it's better
victim.
for the animals, and
Mobius, you're driving and watching me on YouTube. That's kind of an amazing thing. That's kind of be safe, but that's really cool. Thanks for pulling over to do that. That's what you should do. That's how you do it safely. Excellent day. Somehow managed to eat 0 carcasses. Somehow you managed. So how do you avoid GMO seeds then if you don't eat organic? Well, you could just buy things that say non-GMO. If you're concerned about that, I'm not concerned about GMOs. But if you are concerned about GMO, then there are different labeling things that say no GMOs or something like that. I'm not sure.
it's also
And it's a benefit for you.
a benefit for me.
Exactly. And the reason why I'm putting you up on that is because a lot of time people say I'm going to go vegan because it's healthier and I can get all these
It's not
benefits.
because
from
it's
it.
healthier, and it's not because it's a cheaper alternative. What people have to realize is that they're putting
It is healthier unless you eat like me. And then it's probably healthier. Like if I was eating snacks that were like, dairy chocolate, yeah, that would be worse. But I'm not gonna lie and tell you that my diet is super healthy because it's not.
these animals through more hell than any human being's ever been through
I
on
agree.
Earth.
I agree.
I'm gonna come out and say this. I know it has nothing to do with the topic at all, but how would a human being feel if they got put in a chamber and had a gun held straight to their heads and lights out
Exactly.
with no confrontation, no nothing, just
No way of escape.
nothing.
And then someone said, we're doing it because I want to eat your body or because I profited off your milk. We wouldn't, if it was a human in any of these scenarios, we wouldn't accept it.
No,
So we shouldn't accept it for them.
we need to stand up for more than just humans. We need to stand up for every animal on this planet.
I agree, mate.
And the other thing is, animals
Shout out to Jeffrey Indeed, an epic-based vegan debater online. He is. And I feel like 75% of the people who join me in my lives these days came over from Jeffrey's channel. So Jeffrey did me a huge solid. Hopefully I'm returning the favor slightly. I'm smaller, so it's not like very many people I can send over to Jeffrey's channel, but I do my best. And my best isn't good enough.
shouldn't be kept in zoos. They should be released back into
That
where
I
they
acknowledge.
belong.
100%.
Because keeping animals like tigers, lions, like all the meat eaters that are out there in like the forest, the desert plains, I have a belief that an animal like that shouldn't be
In captivity. No, I
because
agree.
they're not bred in their genes to be held behind a bit of glass.
Yeah, it's just a different way of profiting off of them rather than eating them or eating their secretions. We profit off of exploiting them with people coming to view them. Same as aquariums, same as horse racing, dog racing. All these industries are there. They don't take the animals into consideration. It's just how much money can we make from them. The animals are a complete victim in all these scenarios. That's why removing yourself from them is one of the most powerful things you can do, because they only run because of supply and demand. Every
Yeah.
time you buy milk, eggs, dairy, every time you buy something made of wool, every time you go to the betting shop, you're perpetuating that violence towards the animals.
Yeah, 100%, because you're betting physical money that you earn every day in your job, and you're just take out of your play shit, you're betting on an animal to win a race.
And as a result,
As a result,
they
the
die.
animal's gonna die anyway, and then you're left with what, the joy of your animal winning the race, and then that animal then going to die.
It's a massive exploitative industry, but we can do something about it. Like today, you're going to go vegan today.
Yeah.
The next thing you do is you be a voice for these animals. By coming out and you speaking up, it's going to stop. By you removing yourself and being vegan, that's great because you're no longer responsible for the violence. But you now also know about the violence.
Yeah.
So the next person you speak to, you can say, listen, did you know that pigs are gassed in the UK? Did you know that horse racing is really violent and animals get shot when they can't run anymore? Did you know that these companies test on animals? Did you know that they put male chicks in macerators? And you become that voice and you become that person who's fighting for their rights because they can't do it. And they need you as someone who knows what they're going through to defend them.
Yeah.
Nice to speak to you today,
The
mate.
question's always why.
Good luck with being vegan. Be a voice for them.
Great video, Steve, Melon Steve. Here's that. Nothing against Jeffrey, but this was just on my suggested feed. Well, check out Jeffrey's channel. Jeffrey Phillips. Give Jeffrey that Jeremy bump. Everybody could use one. It's not like you're not going to soar into the stratosphere of fame, but you'll get a couple of subs. You know, that's the Jeremy bump. It keeps people level. You know, if I was to just, give people Jeremy mountains, right, then it'll go to their head. It should be slow and steady. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Here's someone we should give the Jeremy bump to as well. This is Jade for Justice.
We got two guests.
She does awesome work, mostly on TikTok, as I understand it, which I'm on seldom, but not enough to support her. I'm here on YouTube, where she posts less frequently, but does awesome stuff. And I believe most of what Jade posts on YouTube is the stuff that she did on TikTok. Let's check it out. This is from a few days ago.
We got two guests from the request box. Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. If I'm a vegan, let's say, and I eat plants, what are the animals going to eat?
Did y'all see Gary Yourofsky is back? I'll play that in a second.
Eat then.
Hang on. Let me just show you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Hang on. We'll go right back to it. Don't worry.
Anonymous for the Voiceless, AV, is the premier animal rights group on this planet when it comes to education-based activism. They've been teaching people about veganism, ethical veganism, for around 10 years, kicking major ass all over this planet. I'm going to be joining them in July in Cologne, Germany for the One Dam Month campaign. I'll be there for the last 3 weeks. It's going to be at the Cologne Cathedral. And then I'm going to join them as they head on out to Amsterdam for the One Dam Ode campaign, August 2nd through the 10th. So if you can make it out there, please come out. We need people. We need enough people to go out there and teach everybody what it means to be an ethical vegan, why animals don't deserve to be commodities and turned into food and clothing for the most disgusting species to ever disgrace this planet. It's me and Paul Bashir dropping cents like a cashier.
Dropping a little rhyme there at the end. All right, Gary. So that's cool. Good to see he's back at it again. Back to Jade here.
So do you want to have like an actual conversation about this, or are you here to just like troll?
Okay, let's have an actual conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, so like yeah, what is stopping you from going vegan?
There's a certain vitamin you can't get from plants that you can get from meat.
Are you talking about vitamin B12?
Yes, it's my favorite vitamin. Or one of
Okay,
my
my
many
dear.
favorite vitamins.
Well, do you know where vitamin B12 was originally sourced from? It
Where
was
was the
originally
source from?
sourced from the soil,
Soil.
but the soil has been depleted of all of the nutrients from all of the agriculture, specifically animal agriculture that we're doing. And that's why we don't get B12. And also, we wash our produce now. So that's how we used to get it. That's how the animals used to get it too. But the soil's been completely depleted. So now, like, actually, 90% of the B12 supplements in the world are being given to animals in agriculture. So actually, when you're getting B12 from meat, you're actually taking a supplement through the animal.
Great answer, Jade. Knows her shit.
So, you could just cut out the middleman or the middle animal, and just take the supplement directly. But like really, even if even if it literally had to be sourced from the animal, I mean, let's say it was dogs. Like, would you rather have dogs slaughtered to get B12 or just take a supplement?
Well, now since you made it like the argument like that, I am no longer part of the meat eater movement. Wow.
He's not there to be serious, I don't think. The meat eater movement.
Wonderful, my dear. Yeah. So I would highly recommend, would you be willing to watch like something on YouTube, like an ethical speech or a documentary about the animal industry?
But I still gotta finish eating the meat that I have.
Yeah, I would say just finish what you already have and then just don't buy it again because you kind of already have it. So if you want to eat it, I mean,
I think
you
he's
do
just
you, but
trolling.
just don't buy it ever again because that's the issue is the supply and demand. Because when you're paying for animal products, you're paying for the animals to be exploited. That's how supply and demand works. So until we stop paying for meat and cheese and milk and eggs, animals are going to be forced into existence just to be raised to be slaughtered, and actually 92 billion land animals are slaughtered every year that we force into existence. We're the ones making them exist just
Are
to be
we only
slaughtered
gonna
and exploited.
blame the humans, or
Oh God. Sometimes I just don't understand why these people are responding. It originally was just a troll, but yeah. I don't know.
Excuse me?
are we only gonna blame humans?
So what you want, are you asking if I'm upset about lions?
Yeah, lions, hyenas, jaguars, leopards, leopard
Yeah,
seals.
so I don't think that it's moral to kill. I don't think it's ever moral to kill. But the difference between humans and non-human animals is that we have moral agency. So we're able to decide, make decisions based on whether they're right and wrong. They don't. And, I just don't get my morals from wild animals. Lions.
She's doing great. Like a great amount of patience. I probably would have already stopped engaging in a serious way with this person. It's hard to engage with someone seriously when they're obviously not doing that with you. Yeah.
Lions also rape each other and they also commit infanticide. So I just don't get my morals from lions, I think,
Where do you
for
get your
myself.
morals from, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I value sentience. I value sentience.
Yeah. And I mean, you could just ask what you want done to you. Like, would you want it done to you? Would you want to be in a little cage? Would you want to be bolt gunned in the head? Would you want to be in a gas chamber? Would you want to be forcibly impregnated?
A lot, and that's kind of how I base my decisions. If somebody has the ability to suffer and feel pain.
This conversation, let me go ahead and put the link in. This is Jade for Justice. There's a link to this video. She does her debating, I believe, mainly on TikTok. So this is probably originally sourced from her TikTok, which, let me look. I think it's Jade for Justice, all together, FOR, but let me make sure it's not like the letter 4. I mean, the number 4. Definitely follow her on TikTok if you're on TikTok and YouTube. But yeah, it's Jade for Justice, spelled out. FOR, Jade for Justice. Nice. Cool.
Pain or experience joy and be happy. You know, I don't want to make them suffer. I don't want to exploit them. I don't want to use them. And so that is why I'm vegan.
Well, the thing is, everyone has their own moral parameters if they base it off their imagination.
Right,
But I
sure.
have
Everybody has their own morals. So what are your morals? Like,
It's not based on, well, it's not based on imagination. She said that she values sentience. So that's not imaginary.
you think it's okay to make another, like, do you disagree with my moral stance? Do you think that it's okay to make somebody else that's sentient suffer? Do you think it's okay to inflict pain or exploit somebody that has their own subjective experience and their own thoughts and feelings?
Well, check this out.
Yes
If
or
the
no?
cre-
It's a yes or no question, if you could answer it. Do you think that's okay or not?
No,
Okay, great. So this means that your values are in line with veganism.
but did you know the creator of the universe, he
Oh,
gave
God.
dominion
Oh, God.
over the animals, over the birds
Oh,
of the
Jesus.
sky, over the
Oh, God.
Okay, look,
fish.
Where's Vegan Heretic? Steven, where are you? We need you. We need you back. Steven, come on. I'm going to have to let Steven know every time I stream.
if yes, and you know, if God, like, if your God or whatever created sentient individuals, do you really think your God would want us to exploit them and enslave them and kill them when we don't have to? You know, like if Jesus, I'm assuming you're Christian, if Jesus was here today and Jesus had the option to slit a goat's throat or to eat some lentils, like what do you think Jesus would do?
That's an interesting perspective, because you're pushing your ideology on the creator of the universe.
No, she's not. She's asking you a question of which you think he would do. Of course, you're not going to answer that. It's difficult, right, to answer that question, because to say that Jesus would choose the violent option would kind of fly in the face of everything that you say Jesus is about, right? Oh, Lord. Oh, Jesus.
Look, I don't know what religion you follow, but if your God thinks that it's good to exploit, enslave, and murder somebody else that can have feelings and their own subjective experience, you need to find a new God because your God is like not good.
Yeah.
Okay, then why are you pushing
You know,
this?
I've asked this question. If I'm ever lucky enough to have Cam on the program, I want to ask him this too. But like, I asked this to Steven. I was curious. If God said it is required that you eat animals, right? What would you do? Like, are we just obedient to some God? Or can we make our own choices? I'd really like to know that, because to me, it's obvious. If God says that we should kill animals, then no. Sorry. Bring on the flood, I guess.
Onto the people. Why can't you go tell the lions, the hyenas, all the other
Oh,
stuff?
Lord. This guy's a clown. He's a clown. Mobius, Okay. Mobius got into a conversation earlier when a guy said vegans are pushy, then went in to tell me what vegans should do. Yeah, that happens a lot. Vegans should not be so pushy, right?
And guess what they don't do? They don't go out there feed
But you know, if he was in that cage, I bet you anything, he'd really want there to be a lot of pushy vegans, wouldn't he?
the chickens. They don't go out. Why can't you go tell the lions?
I don't know, maybe because we don't speak lion. I don't speak Lionese. Sorry.
The hyenas, all the other stuff. And guess what they don't do?
I don't
They
speak
don't go out there feed the
Hyanese.
chickens. They don't go out there feed the cows. They don't go out
Yeah,
there call the vet.
they also don't shop at the grocery store, my dear. They also don't, like, as soon as a hyena is shopping at a grocery store, and paying taxes and like voting and whatever, then I'm gonna try to convince them. But they don't have moral agency. So it's for the same reason that I'm not gonna talk to babies and talk to babies about ethics, because they can't have these conversations. And it sounds like you're struggling to have this conversation too.
Yeah, it does.
So, honestly, I'm gonna let you go, but I really recommend you check out those first 2 points I have on the screen, Dominion documentary and Gary Yourofsky's speech. They're both free on YouTube. And I can't recommend them enough. Like, Dominion documentary is very educational. It's free education on YouTube. And Gary Yourofsky's speech, that's an ethical speech. It's called Gary Yourofsky's most important speech you'll ever hear or something. It's an ethical speech, and it just goes through the principles of veganism, and it seriously changed my perspective. And
Bro, if
I
I
would be
get
really
B12
interested.
supplements, then
I
how are
would
the
be really
animals gonna
interested.
get B12?
Okay, I'm just gonna mute you since you're talking over me. I would be really interested to hear your thoughts on it. So, if you want to go and watch it and then come back, you can go and watch it and come back and tell me how you feel. So either go listen to Gary's speech or go watch, I don't know, 20 minutes of Dominion documentary, and then come back in here. Be sure
Nature, though, while arguing on the internet. Spot on, Mobius. Spot on.
to follow so you can remember me. If I can chat. Okay, who's next?
God, that was cringy. Well, this next person's not going to last even that long, so this is going to be interesting.
It's not
Probably because they're like, you know what? After one argument, he's going to be like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I'm a dumbass. I am going to... Wait, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't prejudge him, is what I'm saying.
hard to be vegan, John. If you think about it from the animals, from the victim's perspective, it's not hard at all to be vegan. It's hard to be exploited, enslaved, and murdered. It's hard to be forced into existence and have an execution date assigned to you the day that you're born, right? It's hard to be separated from your family, like the dairy cows from their babies in the dairy industry. It's hard to be molested. Milking is molesting. Cows are unable to give informed consent. They're not consenting to being milked. It is molesting, and it's not okay. So it's really quite easy to be vegan. It's hard to be exploited. It's hard to be enslaved. It's hard to be murdered, right? It's hard to be viewed as a product. It's hard to be seen as a commodity, right? You're just a clump of cells, Yosef. You're just a clump of cells. Animals are sentient individuals. Okay, and you're an animal too. Humans are animals too, my dear. Okay, is anybody in here to have a real, genuine conversation?
They're
Or
not.
are you guys just here to troll?
Just a troll.
Because I want to have a real conversation. I don't know, maybe that's it. You say yes? I don't know. I'll talk to you guys next time. It's almost midnight. This is the first live stream I've done in a long time, so I'm just gonna end it here. But
I understand, Jade.
follow and join next time I go live. We can talk next time I go live.
Good job, Jade. Good job. There's that link again. Go follow Jade. Give that video a like and a subscribe. What do I have? Okay, I said I was going to react to this Charlie Kirk thing. I reacted to the second debate, not the first debate with Michael. Let's jump on the bandwagon of all the other vegan channels that have reacted to this. I've watched it already, but just for funsies, let's do it.
We have a singular question. Yeah, right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Too loud, Charlie.
Hello.
Pipe down with your bullshit.
We have a singular question. Yeah, right. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello.
Who would? I don't know. I won't say it.
So I've seen, based on most of your clips, that I agree with most of your beliefs and stances on things. Besides
Israel.
No, there's one.
I guessed.
There's one topic that I disagree with your logic on. And I've seen when you debate other people on this topic, oftentimes they get kind of shoot off the mic. So I ask that you please give me a fair chance to debate. I believe.
Look at all these fucking young douchebags wearing. Who does this? Who's like, yeah, I'm gonna wear this cringy cult hat that some billionaire told me to wear. Like, stop, you fucking moron, kids, stop. Jordan Klepper did that. Jordan Klepper put out a video, not to get all political, I know y'all aren't here for that, but he put out a video where he was talking about the rightward shift of the youth. He was visiting all these college campuses, and it's so goddamn cringe. Steven's not here, so I can talk that way. Just stop. Like, think for yourself. Think. Use your brain. What happened to that? Michael can do it.
I believe that the breeding, exploitation, and killing of animals for food when we do not have to is immoral. And obviously,
look at this clown show. All these people laughing at that. What's funny? Including Doofus here.
Did you lose a bet?
Yeah, he just prefaced this with saying, like, take this seriously, but of course he can't do that. Oh, dear leader, you said a funny joke. You said one of the things that I like that David Rams had done was that expose of exposing Sadhguru. He's this guru, fake Buddhist bullshit charlatan who has all these followers, just like Charlie Kirk, makes lame jokes that aren't funny, and everybody's just like, So he had some. Maybe we'll watch that. We should watch that. We should highlight that. But anyway, he had some lady confront him about dairy. We'll probably watch David's video. We'll do that. We'll do that.
I'm serious. I would ask for a fair chance at a debate without shooting me off the mic or making jokes, please.
What do you eat?
What do I eat?
Good call out.
Like for protein?
Sure.
I eat.
What's funny? What is funny about this? Sorry, Mobius. I don't know how he attracts crowds except maybe for the logical fallacies and debate bro tactics. Our future right there. Yeah, I don't follow Charlie Kirk, obviously, but I mean, Jordan had a couple of clips. Obviously, they're just like, like clips taken from things that he said. And one of the things he had said was, if I'm flying on an airplane and the pilot is black, I'm really concerned whether or not they're qualified. I guess talking about This term we all have to hear now that didn't used to be a thing. It was just inclusion or something. Now it's DEI. And it's the rights obsession these days, DEI. Because of people like that. But yeah, so Charlie gets nervous on airplanes if there's a black pilot. So yeah. That just kind of tells you what you need to know about Charlie Kirk, I suppose.
Tofu, nutritional yeast, seitan. I easily get over 200 grams of protein per day.
It's a lot.
By the way, this is also another thing that really annoys me that people do during debates a lot. They're like, what do you eat? It's like, you want a list? Do you want, like, I eat food. I eat a shit ton of food. That's what I eat. You need a, like, Google it. Google sources of vegan sources of protein. It's not that fucking hard. And by the way, protein is in all foods, all of it, all foods. So if you're looking for really high protein foods, which you probably don't need to be unless you're trying to get jacked, which all of these guys, yeah, definitely are all trying to get jacked. I mean, look at this guy. Just a picture of manliness right here and right here in comparison to him, for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I saw David Rams, Lifting Vegan Logic, Danny Ishe, Natalie, they all reacted to this and talked about this. Even had this guy on, and he's apparently like a masculinity coach, which I have no idea what is that. But he's a very well-spoken, very reasonable guy. I guess helps people like this find their masculinity. But this got very awkward for them because he's not puny or wimpy. And so he blew their minds.
A tofu to get 200 grams of protein, then.
That's not my. I have like about a pound a day. That's not my main source.
I'm sorry to interrupt so much, but who eats a pound of tofu a day? I mean, he is going for some protein. You don't need to do that. Most people. Now, him in his situation, he wants to get a lot of protein, get buffer. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. But I mean, the bar is too high. We're setting the bar ridiculously high. You don't need that amount of protein. And you don't need to eat any tofu or soy, as we're going to get into.
That gives me about 40 a day.
I know someone who's vegan and has a soy allergy. She can't eat any soy.
Okay. But I get 200 grams a day for
that's a lot of tofu.
In terms of actual health
It's
for
a lot
humans,
of tofu.
We do not need that much. We barely even need 100 grams a day, which is easily obtained through plants.
Okay, so what is your contention? That we should outlaw or make it harder?
So yeah, here's another thing that Charlie has done, and every time I've seen him have a debate with one of these guys is to ask about whether or not you want us to outlaw meat. And of course, all this is rage bait for his little minions here, all his little minions, so that they can say, oh, you're trying to take away my freedom. Well, actually, what you're doing is taking away the freedom of animals every day with your little cult, your Turning Point USA cult you've got here on your college campuses. You're promoting taking away the freedom from animals all the time. I wonder if Charlie wants those laws to ban murder. Do you want laws against murder? Or do you want to abolish those laws?
To eat animal-based protein?
No, I'm not as much concerned about the legality of it, more so the morality.
Okay, so are human beings equal to cows?
I would put human beings above cows.
Okay, so what moral, we don't want to see animal cruelty, but what moral worth would you say a cow has?
I would say that.
By the way, I don't love that it's this position where Charlie gets to interview this guy. Should be the other way around. You're the one on the spot. You should be the one getting grilled, not who. This guy is very well spoken, very articulate, very an awesome guy. But he's not in the hot seat. He shouldn't be in the hot seat. According, as far as you know, he's just some rando who got up. You should be on the hot seat. You're the one who came on the campus to spread your wisdom, Charlie. So I don't love how this is framed as like, I'm going to grill you now because you're vegan. It's just such the fact that he took this down. And by the way, he took this, he posted this video and then took it down, unlisted it. So you can still find it. We're not watching it on his channel because I don't want to give him any views. So this is just someone who reposted it. But in the last debate, the second debate he had, this vegan got up there and said, there was a debate you had, it got taken down. The first thing that Charlie said was, yeah, I didn't like how that debate went. So he didn't like how this went. And you can see why. But he didn't like how that went. He's like, I'm going to repost this with commentary. So we'll see when that comes out what sort of bullshit commentary Charlie appends to his little failure here.
It's a cow has worth in the sense that we should not, like any sentient animal, cause them suffering or kill them if we do not have to.
Right. So you don't eat fish either, I assume?
I don't eat any animal products at all.
No animal products. And no dairy?
No.
So full vegan?
Yes.
Obviously.
Wow. Okay. Do you know that there would actually be fewer cows if we didn't eat them?
Yeah. So again, I've made this point before, but I think a good thing to do when someone says something like that is to be like, yeah, we would stop raping animals. We would stop forcibly impregnating female animals because that's what you have to do to get the animals that you're now eating. There is a violation that takes place to breed your little slave babies.
Where, yes.
So you would argue for less cows, not more cows, basically.
Dumbass. He's arguing that you stop exploiting cows. That's it. It's not that complicated. I know in your little pea brain, it's hard to understand. Mobius. Yeah, I never understood why people think that's a good rebuttal. Vegans are advocating for freedom of choice, yet they'll complain that vegans are trying to take that away from them. Yeah, I don't think people should have the freedom to choose to kill animals. No, other people do. I'm not advocating that. I'm not advocating freedom of choice. If Charlie were to ask me, would I outlaw meat? I'd say, you're fucking right, I would. And maybe that would win over some of his fucking clown show followers that I dropped an F-bomb or something, since they're all so concerned. But that's how I would answer it. Because just as I wouldn't want to be murdered myself, I wouldn't want it to be legal to murder animals. So yes, I would outlaw meat eating. But of course, he's doing that because he knows that what will happen if you answer that way is that everybody's going to be like, oh, new laws taking our freedom. Fuck you. Freedom.
I am against the breeding, exploitation, and slaughter of them for food.
What obligations do we have to wild animals?
It's not the topic, Charlie, but yeah, sure, deflect.
I mean, the animals that we eat are not wild animals. They're domesticated.
Right.
And we specifically breed, control, and kill them. We control their whole life, so they're not really wild.
Should we stop other animals from being carnivores?
No, because
Well, we'll start with you. How about that, Charlie? We'll start with you.
those animals need to eat. Like a lion needs to eat an antelope to survive. So in a survival situation, I believe it is okay to eat animals, but in the modern day, we do not need to. And I believe that we were designed by God not needing to eat meat.
What scripture are you referencing?
Genesis 1:29.
Right, and it's
Oh, he dropped the line on you. He knew his shit. He didn't see. He was not expecting this. Michael read Vegans versus the Verses, or he just read the Bible. He sounds like he's more into the Bible. I mean, he's into the Bible, but he'd be a fan of that book, I bet.
Oh, you mean the scripture says God gave dominion over the animals
No, the one
of
that
the earth?
says, "I've given you every seed-bearing plant, fruit, and tree on this earth, and for you, though that shall be meat."
Right, but again, just to continue a little further, to be clear.
Hang on. I just want to point out something right quick. Like all these Christians, they're supposed to know the Bible. We're talking about the first 30. How do you call it? Like first 30 lines of the Bible. Y'all don't know what it is? I don't, because I'm not a Christian. We're talking about the first chapter.
In the Noahic covenant, it does allow for animals.
I'm aware. So
right.
After the flood,
and just to be clear, doesn't the law
Yeah,
give?
I think I knew what you meant, Mobius. The freedom of choice to be left alone from those who enslave and slaughter the innocent. Yeah. But I thought maybe, maybe I did misread, because I thought maybe you were saying, no, I'm sorry. I'm dumb. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying like, we're advocating for the freedom of choice or something like that, which I'm not. I'm definitely not. But I think a lot of people do, though. A lot of animal rights people do that.
Guidance on how to kill animals, like how to kill animals in certain ways. The Bible is explicitly pro meat eating, so much so that they would kill an animal as a sacrifice to God, or kill the fatted calf in celebration of something.
Yeah, and what do you think about that? Are you just like a submissive, obedient little bitch boy that you have to do whatever God tells? Like, I don't understand this mindset. I don't understand all these men promoting masculinity and just complete submissiveness.
I mean, when Jesus came, he ended the sacrifice, the animal sacrifice. So again, I think during that time, there was a lot more food shortage.
Well, hold on. Jesus ate fish. He fed the 5,000 with fish.
Yeah, so like I said,
Don't think he did. We've looked at a lot of videos now about that. Shout out to Cam at Christspiracy and Stephen Lee August for doing some of these deep dives. And even if he did, shut up. Just shut up. If Jesus ate fish, it's not like, well, it wouldn't have been okay, in my view, then either. But it's not like he can go to his grocery store and get the Gardein fish, plant-based fish fillet, right? Whatever.
So I don't understand. But so, Jesus didn't say, stop, don't eat the fish. They are sentient beings.
Maybe he did. It could be that he did say that, but you're getting all this information from secondhand, third hand, fourth hand, whatever, whoever wrote it. Many people.
Fish to people.
So like I said, in a survival situation where there's 5,000 people,
there was also bread.
Yeah, but
then
bread
maybe they ate the bread. Maybe they ate the bread then, Charlie. Maybe you should eat the bread.
But hold on, Jesus is God. He could have been, here's a legume. Jesus is God. He could have said, here's an almond. He said,
Jesus is God. So apparently he said, here's an impossible nugget. If Jesus did all this, didn't he make them impossible? Y'all's logic.
He said Jesus is God. He could, here's a lentil. Yet Jesus said, here is fish.
I'm sorry. It's just not. It doesn't. Things don't follow.
So who are you to question Jesus, who he fed the 5,000 with? He could have said, here's tofu.
Again,
He says, Mobius says, according to the story, Jesus didn't catch the fish. He multiplied what was available to multiply. Gotcha.
So the disciples brought him fish and bread. That was what he multiplied. Right?
Yeah,
That's
the
what
feeding
Oh,
of
yeah.
the 5,000, right?
But I think in this modern day, we do not need to eat meat to be healthy, have good performance, and survive, and therefore causing immense suffering to these beings that do feel pain and suffering is
Got it.
wrong.
So I know this might seem unrelated, but I would hope
Oh,
to say
boy.
you're also pro-life, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you are consistent. When vegans are not pro-life, that is a.
Yeah, I'm overall conservative. I agree with you on pretty much everything besides this one issue.
But
Not me. I probably disagree with Charlie Kirk about most everything, including like standing in front of these propaganda things. Turning point.
you would agree, though, animals are not humans.
Yes.
Okay, but you would say if I eat a steak, am I doing?
What a profound question, Charlie Kirk. You would agree that animals are not humans. Man, that was deep. Good question.
Something immoral? But you would say if I eat a steak, am I doing something immoral?
Yes. Yes, you are.
I would say that if you eat a steak knowing that, and you didn't have to, and you chose to pay for an animal.
Yes, I plan to do this tonight. So tell me what. Tell me.
So, like I said, I think the breeding,
Choke on it.
exploitation, and killing of animals for food is immoral. Yes.
Immoral.
Yes.
But what moral, by what moral standard do you derive that from?
Well, are you against animal cruelty?
Of course I am. No one wants cruelty. In fact,
shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
The Bible's explicitly against animal cruelty.
You just said the Bible's explicitly pro-animal sacrifice. Go fuck yourself, Charlie Kirk. God, you're a clown. Why do they let people get up on stages that are this dumb? We need screening. People need to be screened before they become influencers. Screen them out.
And so all of us should be. The animals actually made an appearance in the 10 Commandments. Animals got a Sabbath. They got a day off.
Maybe Jesus was testing them all to see who chose the bread instead of the fish. Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe so.
It says for
who's to say?
For 6 days you shall work and 1 day you shall rest, including your ox and your animal. So the Bible actually has done more for animal rights than any other ancient scripture that we can ever find. So I'm all.
The Bible has done more for animal rights than any other scripture we can find. Right. Yeah. I seem to recall ancient religions that advocate not harming any living being. Am I correct about that? Isn't that like what they preach in Buddhism? In Taoism, is that right? I don't think Taoism. I really don't know. So no, Charlie, no.
No one wants animal cruelty. However, I just want to understand by what moral framework do you say it is immoral to eat the meat of something that is not human, especially if we get nutrients and we human beings are able to flourish?
Thou shalt not kill, right? Couldn't he just use your own book? Your own book?
Well, I would say, why are you against animal cruelty?
Well, first of all, no one wants to see something suffer unnecessarily.
Something?
But if and when.
Oh, but, well, apparently you do. Because according to you, Charlie Kirk, because you're getting so triggered by this vegan, you plan to go have a steak tonight. And as we all know, steak is a health food. Yeah, that people eat steak for health reasons. Yeah, that's right. For health. Red meat, yeah.
And you are able to derive calories, nutrients, and I would also contest one of the other things, that I do believe we need animal-based protein. In fact, I think one of the main reasons.
Oh, yeah, well, you don't. because as you can see, there's someone here who doesn't consume animal-based proteins, and he appears, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, is this AI? Is this digitally rendered? Because from my vantage point, he appears to be upright, not on a gurney in a hospital. Appears to be standing, good posture, seems in good shape. Now, I know that he hasn't been vegan for very long because I saw the interview he did with Natalie, or at least they reacted to his content. I think he's been vegan since like November or something like that. So not that long. But I've been vegan 7 years. I too, believe it or not, guys, I too can stand upright using my 2 legs. I don't mean to brag, but I can do that. I too can speak into a microphone like you, Charlie. Wow, it's like we're doing the same thing. But I guess, you know, since you're a weak little bitch, you know, you couldn't perform on a microphone without eating a steak, right?
And
We'll get
maybe you're
into
able to work it out that young men are seeing such a dramatic drop in testosterone rates is the removal of animal-based proteins from diets, so young men especially, ages 10, 11, and 12, and replacement of a lot of these counterfeit soy-based, plant-based proteins.
So studies have found that with equal calorie and protein intake, there is zero difference between.
Yep. What's up, Jedi? Once again, I'm getting false reads, false numbers. It says I have 1 viewer right now. I know there's 2, Mobius and Jedi, at least 2. That was a great point. Why would we be against animal cruelty if animals don't matter except for food? Nobody ever got shamed for throwing a tomato at a speaker on a stage like Charlie. Why does no one do it? What happened to a good tomato? What happened? Never mind. Oh, Felix is here too as well. Those numbers are all over the place. They're just wrong.
In testosterone levels between animal-based diet. And
Have you ever heard the term soy boy?
Yes, of course. I am a soy boy. Yes.
You are a soy boy.
In terms of that's what people call vegan. So yes, I am.
I didn't call you that. I was just said, have you ever heard of the term?
Yes,
Okay.
I've heard of the term. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's because.
Hold on, but again, I don't want to get too deep into biology, but soy is inherently estrogenic, right?
So soy has
Please, 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 guys. Please educate yourselves a little bit. Before taking one of these microphones like this, learn the topic a little bit. I'm not going to say I'm an expert on this, but I did read the book that is the interview that I'm going to air tomorrow or the next day. Look out for that. That's a little self-promotion right there. Nice segue into look out for my interview coming tomorrow or the next day. It's based on a book, which I read, which I don't think this guy's read very much. I know that guy hasn't. I think it's pretty safe to say when you see someone wearing one of those hats, one of their pastimes is not reading. No.
estrogens. They're not actual estrogens. They work in the body similar to a SERM, which is a selective estrogen receptor modulator. What that actually does in some situations, that can actually lower estrogen in males if they have an estrogen imbalance.
Michael, easy on the big words. Easy. Look who you're talking to.
And
suppress testosterone production.
It does not suppress the testosterone production. Studies have found equal testosterone between meat eaters and vegans, considering calories and protein equal. In addition, many professional athletes.
No. The consumption of soy. The consumption of soy.
Yeah, I mean, most in order to
let's get down to one last question though.
Oh, yeah. Move on. You just got schooled. Let's get down to one more question because yeah, you're starting to sweat up there, huh, Charlie? Don't know if you're going to keep this video online.
Just from a very technical one. Wouldn't you agree that it is far more expensive to eat vegan than to eat animal-based?
Yeah. So again, this fucking douchebag, if I may be scientifically accurate, just said he was going to go home and munch on a steak. Now, I remember back in the day when I used to eat steak, I never went and bought a steak thinking, oh, this is really going to be cheap. No, dumb fuck. Steaks are expensive. I'm sorry if I'm turning people off with my, I don't know, my choice of words. But I feel like they're warranted. Are they not warranted? This guy just tried to troll Michael about eating a steak, and now he's trying to come back with, oh, but vegan food's expensive. Shut up, Charlie. You're about to go eat like an expensive ass meal. Man.
Based protein.
Right.
You have
try
to
to
go
clean
out.
it
It's
up a
about the
little bit.
same. Like a pound of, like when I before I went vegan, I'd have like 93% ground beef for like lean protein. That'd be like at Aldi, it was like $6. So now I eat seitan, which most people don't know because it's
He is.
I just eat meat.
Yeah, I showed the Gary video just about 20 minutes ago or so. Charlie doesn't like being confronted by facts. He does not. He doesn't like it.
But it has in 400 calories, it has 80 grams of protein, and it's only $5. So I mean, it's not that expensive to eat vegan.
So, but let me just ask you one last question on this, because almost everything you consume has to be
That was supposed to
either
be the
manufactured or put together.
That was supposed to be the
where
last.
Actually, the way we're arguing,
that was supposed to be the last question, but I see it didn't go as you hoped. Did it not go as you hoped there, Charlie Kirk? Oh yeah. I was like, what do we watch next? We're gonna watch the Sadhguru bullshit. Sadhguru. It is one of David Rams's like most famous, most viewed videos. It's from 4 years ago. We'll watch that next though. If y'all are cool with that. I love when powerful, quote unquote, dumbasses get exposed. It's so good.
Viewing to eat is far more of the earth and far more of whole foods. The vegans actually have to go out of their way to try and have different ingredients and compositions.
Glitch time.
And oils that largely
Nope,
are
you're
far
good.
more
We're
human
good.
interference into the consumption of the food process, right? Which one is more of the earth, eating vegan or eating, let's just say, more paleo, not necessarily carnivore?
So I'll answer that. Then I have one question to ask back to you. In terms of the food itself, I eat mostly pretty much just whole food vegan. Like sometimes I'll eat a vegan, like Impossible Burger. That's not necessarily
No,
healthy.
time out. Hold on. That is like the most manufactured.
I know.
Like,
No, it's not. What are you talking about? It's really not that much. When people do stuff like this, they really expose themselves. The most manufactured, no, it's not. It's a bunch of plant ingredients put together. Dumbass.
That's not healthy. That's
not even healthy. Now you're proving my point. Like, let's just be clear.
He's trying so hard to get it onto favorable territory for him. By the way, I know he's going to explain this, but he was explaining he barely eats Impossible Burgers, but he does from every now and then he'll eat like a plant-based burger. But he was explaining mostly I eat that bullshit that you're talking about from the earth. Oh, close to nature. Just He eats healthy. It's obvious.
Clear. An Impossible Burger has like 50 ingredients that you cannot pronounce.
No.
And it is made in like a lab. Literally, it's like lab-grown meat. And versus
No, it's not lab-grown meat. There is something called lab-grown meat, and it's different than a plant-based burger. Let's pull it up. Impossible Burger ingredients. Yeah. What are the ingredients in Impossible beef meat from plants? Protein from soy to deliver a meaty bite. This is from their website. Flavor from heme, yeast, and other flavors. Oils, sunflower and coconut, make it sizzle on the griddle. Binders hold it together so you can make anything you want. Meatloaf, kebabs, chili, and more. Here are the actual ingredients. I'll read them. I can actually pronounce most of these. Water. First ingredient, water. Soy protein concentrate. Sunflower oil. Coconut oil. Now that's out of the way. 2% or less of natural flavors. Methacellulose. I can pronounce that. Cultured dextrose. Can pronounce that. Food starch modified. Yeast extract. Dextrose. Soy. Here's one that's kind of hard. Soy lignoglobin. Probably got it right. That's probably fine. Salt, vitamin E, L-tryptophan, and soy protein isolate. That's it. That's it. That was like 10 ingredients, not 50. It was 10. And the four main ones are water, soy protein concentrate, sunflower oil, and coconut oil. Those four. It also has vitamin zinc, vitamins B3, B1, B6, B2, and B12, and the allergen, which again, a lot of people can't, well, not a lot of people, but some people can't eat soy. The only allergen listed is soy. Sorry, I should have put that on the screen. Here, I'll do it. Here. That's what I was just reading. It's from their own page. Here's the ingredient list. There they are. Right there. It's like 10 ingredients. Where were we? God, I hate stupid people. I hate them.
a cow.
I understand. I'm not saying it's healthy, but
No,
at the
but
same time, a cheeseburger is not the staple of a healthy diet either. Like with cows.
If
so.
I had to choose like a double cheeseburger from Culver's or an Impossible Burger, it's a double cheeseburger every single day. That is better for you. Like it's not even close.
Like it's not even close. Are you sure, Charlie? With all that great research you've done, are you sure? Because soy protein isolate, probably not that bad for you. Actually, it's probably good for you. What's not good for you is the oil, dumbass. It's the oil, the coconut oil. That's what's not good for you in an Impossible Burger and maybe the heme.
It's like not even close.
That's fair. So, but either way,
And let me interrupt.
You can eat mostly whole
The fact
foods.
that we have to make Franken food, like Frankenstein food, is one of the greatest.
Frankenfood, Frankenstein food. You just talked about going to fucking Culver's. I'm allowed to hate. Thank you, Jedi. I feel the hate coursing through me. I feel the darkness. So disappointed Impossible started putting animal products in their stuff. Ditto. Ditto. What are they thinking? Luckily, it seems to be only in like a few things that I've never even seen before, but other people have seen it and posted about it. It's not like their burger patties or their nuggets or things like that. It's like their breakfast sandwiches.
Arguments that we should continue to eat real meat.
I, mean, I eat only whole foods. Like
No, I got it. But you're the one that brought up Impossible Burgers. I did.
I know.
Right?
I was saying that I was.
Yeah, you were just dishonestly talking about what he eats.
You're gonna keep going and saying that that's not like an example. A lot of people use that as an example to shame veganism. Well, that's not an example of a health.
I am curious. How did you get into this?
I first got into it by I saw how animals were treated in factory farms, which is what 99% of meat sold in America is factory farms. So a lot of people say, "Oh, grass-fed, pasture-raised."
I mean, look,
that is only a small percentage.
I do want to thank you because we'll get to the next question. By the way, you guys, the line's over there. I see. What's going on? It is hard to take an unpopular position, and you've taken a very unpopular public position, of which you should be commended for that.
Well, thanks, Charlie. Yeah, thanks. That's really kind of you. Yeah, no, he just took the right position. And kudos to him for standing up in this hostile yet puny looking crowd, I will point out, with all these doofuses wearing their MAGA hats. Not cool hats like I've got that say defend, hashtag free Paul Watson. That's what you should be wearing, even though he's freed already. He got freed. But the hat's still cool. I think, anyway. All right. Well, that's from one charlatan to another. Let's look at this old video. And y'all, if you guys got something you want me to react to instead of this, which is quite old, let me know. But why not? It's a classic.
I don't even know what to tell you at this point. At this point, I've not got a reaction that's
a David classic.
Going to be like helpful right now. I'm trying to be productive here, but I just want to say something like really like this guy.
Thank you.
Hey, it's David here back with another video.
By the way, I don't think David Rams today would approve of saying that now, even though he agrees with it in principle. He wouldn't think it's helpful, but I love it.
Video
I'm okay
we're
with
going
it.
to do.
Obviously, I'm okay with it. Oh no, what's happening? What is happening? David.
I can't believe I don't even know what to tell you at this point. At this point, I've not got a reaction that's going to be like helpful right now. I'm trying to be productive here, but I just want to say something like really like this guy.
You got the Jeremy bump.
Hey, it's David here back with another video, and in today's video, we're going to do a reaction video. We're going to react to a famous Indian guru named Sadhguru. I've been in India now for some months, and I know Sadhguru has a massive reputation here. People really love him here, but he's also got a big reputation worldwide. He's probably the best known guru in the world, mainly for his positive spiritual messages, meditation techniques, meditation guiding, things like that. He's one of the main gurus that speaks English, so his audience is obviously like huge because of that. So he can reach out to international markets, and so he's loved, renowned. People really, really love him. And to be honest, he's done some good stuff. He's done some questionable stuff as well, which we're going to get into today. Seems a bit confused at times. He spoke about milking cows. He got into a discussion live in front of a lot of people about the cruelty involved in milking cows. Let's just say it wasn't very good. He didn't do a good job. When we're going to react to it today, we're going to look at what he said, and we're going to debunk the things he said that were
okay. I got your video, Felix, and since this one's kind of long, I don't think we'll react to the entire thing.
Untrue, and we're going to analyze him as an individual and the way he answers these questions.
I'm reacting to a reaction
as well, because there's a lot to look at here. There's a lot to take apart. Before we jump into the reaction video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you don't.
For Jeremy Loeb is what he means. He hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and hit the notifications for Jeremy Loeb and David Rams, both of us. He's giving me the David bump right now. Thank you, David.
Don't miss any videos in the future. Let's get into the video. Let's see what Sadhguru has to say about milking cows. I'm going to put my headphones on so this is easier to edit later.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. My question is about milk. milk is coming from the cows, which is a very torturous way.
How old are you?
Do you see that straight away? This is really, really rude. He's been asked this question before. You can tell by the way his body language, the way he's suddenly making a joke. He's not comfortable with what he's being asked. This is a telltale sign.
Just like Charlie Kirk. Telltale sign of what, David?
I mean, I'm not an expert in body language. I'm not an expert in psychology. I did study
Well, we're becoming experts.
psychology at university. I do have a degree, but this to me is
Oh, shit.
obvious. Like, if you're about to get shaken by a question, if you want to gain some power back, make a joke. Be like, how old are you? Like, it's funny, right? Everyone laughs. Okay, Sadhguru's got the audience. He's got the...
Yeah. I plan to have that steak later tonight. Did you lose a bet right off the bat? Oh, same tactic as Charlie fucking Kirk.
crowd. Now the tough question is going to come, and he's getting himself some points. He's getting the crowd behind him. Let's see how this goes on.
I'm 32.
Too late for milk drinking.
So again, it's
Suck Fad Guru, indeed. Guru outfit in a Hot Topic. False Guru. Cow titty juice. Guys are on it. Just like Charlie. False Guru. What would you call Charlie Kirk at this point? What is he? Right-wing influencer? I don't know.
it's a weird way to respond to somebody like that. I mean, this individual is commenting on the cruelty of milk. Clearly, she's going to be against milking cows. That's why she's asking the question. And he's making a joke about her being too old to drink milk, and then kind of smirking and smug like that. It's not a good start. It's not a good start.
Sadhguru, I didn't understand.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Yeah, exactly. Why would you? You're trying to ask a question to somebody who's supposed to be a responsible guru when he's making fun of you in front of a crowd.
Then you can drink milk.
Like, is it just fear? Does this not make anyone else feel uncomfortable? This guy's in a position of power. A woman in the crowd has asked him a question, and he's used his power, used his dominance to make fun of her. And then she's like, wait, I don't understand. I was asking.
This is such a based reaction, by the way. He's so on it. He's so spot on with this.
Your question, can I, are we going to get to my question? And he's like, oh, if you don't understand, then yeah, you should be drinking milk. Like, what are you, how is that? I don't get this. It's not a good start. It's not funny.
Right. Mobius. Yep.
Okay.
So the
Like that uncomfortable silence there for a while too was just so. I mean, it's not like an atrocious thing is being done to her, but I felt bad for her in that moment because it's just like a bullying.
cows are getting tortured just to get the milk from them, and it's about their reproductive system, and we are dependent on the milk which should be given to the her children, and this has been happening since ages, and also in the yogic system and in the temples.
By the way, the people who do this, like they go into these hostile crowds and just dare to speak up and dare to ask a question like Michael did. Oh, we didn't shout out his channel, by the way. We should probably do that. He's on Instagram. Let's find him because he deserves credit for doing that. So this is the guy who was debating Michael Bilotic. If you're on Instagram, follow him. That's the guy who was debating Charlie Kirk. I didn't share the video because it's just a repost that someone did.
Milk is getting used for diyas.
You can just Google. You can just look for Charlie Kirk debates vegan deleted video on YouTube.
And also for the linga. So I'm not sure how good it is. Sometimes I feel very bad about
I
it.
don't know where you saw diyas burning with milk. Anyway.
Again, you know, making jokes on her expense game because this is an uncomfortable question
Yeah.
for him.
And she's trying to ask a serious question. Like, she's taking this seriously. God, like, he should have lost so much support for doing that. Hope he did. Probably didn't, though. Pretty sure he did not. People even praise him for like being vegetarian.
This is supposed to be one of the most well-renowned gurus in
I shouldn't know this, but I know it because David made like 3 videos, at least.
India. Somebody who is, he knows how it feels to be embarrassed. He's not the kind of person that should be embarrassing people, but here he is doing it again. The question we need to be asking ourselves is, why would a well-renowned guru, such a well-respected guru, make fun of somebody asking a question multiple times? Well, I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, all right. So he's a better.
Hello, Mark Barden here from Sandy Hook Promise. On December 14th, 2000.
Better to slaughter them, not torture them, right?
What? And there it is. This is why he was making fun, because this touches a nerve with him, because he knows that what he's about to say is nonsense. So he's building up some support with these silly jokes so that he can drop this absolute nonsense point and get away with it, right?
Yeah.
Because people are on his side now. They were on his side anyway, but now they're really on his side. And
yeah, she probably asked this so earnestly, thinking that she's probably a follower of his. She's probably a supporter of his. And she wanted to get his take on something and challenge him about something. It's so disappointing. Like, you should be able to, it's kind of like Michael did with Charlie. He said, I agree with you on all, like most everything. And I disagree with you on this. It's a good way to be able to start a productive conversation. But obviously, people like Charlie and people like Sadhguru, these people that all these young people look up to as guides, gurus, influencers, they're just flawed doofuses. Like, they're just complete charlatans. They don't have critical thinking ability. They're not smart. They're just, they get popular based on something, and then the popularity snowballs. That's all it is. There's no thought behind it. Look at like David Rams has a well-sized channel, right? But David has put in all this thought into his videos. He's evolved with his channel. He's done all these things. Like, he should be the massive channel, right? Instead, all these people are following Sadhguru. No, we don't celebrate the right people. And I'm not saying we, put up David Rams on a pedestal, or any of us on a pedestal. I'm just saying, though, the people that we should be celebrating are people who can think and use logical reasoning and kindness. So definitely don't use me, because I don't have compassion for people like this. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm sorry, David. I don't.
He's made this girl look stupid. He's made the girl feel stupid. So now when he comes out with his absolutely fucking stupid point, it's going to be accepted. It's going to be widely accepted, and she's going to feel even more stupid. Put forward the dichotomy of, oh, so it's better to slaughter them rather than torture them. No, it's better to do neither. And that's what this girl is suggesting. No, just don't do any of these things. The only reason they exist is because they're being bred.
Yeah.
So
and hasn't even gotten the chance to suggest it yet. She's barely even got through her question.
Solution is stop breeding them, not to torture them or kill them.
Well, it's better to leave them the way they want to live.
That will not happen.
Right, because of people like you. But you, Sadhguru, is someone with influence, apparently, for some fucking reason. People follow you. It's probably because of that embarrassing beard of yours. It makes you like godly, right? This big white bushy beard and the Hot Topic guru outfit. Oh, they just follow you, because you got the look down. Yeah. Imagine having that much power and influence and using it to create further harm.
option is slaughter them. So we think it's better to milk them rather than slaughter them.
Oh, and that, oh God, this is the most manipulative. Like this guy, I've seen other videos of this guy and I've really liked him, but this right here is the most manipulative shit thing I've ever seen. This thing here, this is like the trigger. This is like clap for me because you support me. I've said something that you should clap for. That's what that is. It's a nod. It's a nod for people to be like, woo.
I really like the channel I'm Dante, and I was watching one of Dante's videos the other day. I went down a I'm Dante rabbit hole, and he was reacting to a video someone else had made about this cult leader, David Berg or something. I think that's what his name was. And the video was about like the most disturbing children's cartoon. It was a puppet show ever made. You can go down a rabbit hole on YouTube. You guys know this. Very entertaining. But it was basically this guy, you know, he's a cult leader. He was preying upon children, preying upon women, and he used all these tactics, this godly bullshit, to manipulate and train people and, you know, mess with them. And he even went so far as to create this little puppet show for the children, which has all these like morals and stuff. And a lot of them are really weird, including like obey, just trust and obey. And it's like these songs. I should link to it. He's not an animal rights channel, but I'll just link to the video that I'm talking about if y'all are curious. I'm Dante reacts to most disturbing kids show. Darkest kid show ever made. If y'all want a bit of like a break, you know, from like animal stuff, we got to do it sometimes, you know. There's that video. Sometimes I just don't want to think about what's happening to animals. We have to be able to separate sometimes. That's why I play Cyberpunk on the channel sometimes. That's why I watch these videos. Jedi. Indian vegans often recommend Akarya Prashant. And David recommended Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Buddhist master, whatever you call him, who said beautiful things. In fact, we'll watch that. We'll watch what he had to say. The status quo is heralded as king, while challenging the narrative leads to scorn from peers, family, and society. Same video suggested, yeah. So we'll just watch a little of this and...
Oh yeah, this is a great... That was a disgusting move, a manipulative tactic. And he's been doing it since the beginning of this. Been doing it since she asked the first question, because he knew he was going to have to mess with people's minds to get this point across, because they're not going to agree with it. You're putting across a false dichotomy of either we slaughter them or we milk them. Thank you. No, that's not true. It's not true whatsoever. She said it rightly before he cut her off, before she could explain the point better, that no, we stop breeding them and we leave them alone. We can stop breeding them, like forcibly breeding them so that the numbers will decrease, and then we can care for them or we can leave them alone. Now, obviously, leaving them alone is maybe not the best idea because they're domesticated. It would be shitty to have them trying to survive around, you know, the streets and stuff like that. But getting them into sanctuaries is a viable option, especially as the numbers start to decrease as we stop breeding them into existence.
Hang on. Let's watch Thich Nhat Hanh. And this is also because of David Rams doing a video why we should listen to this guy. I mean, again, you don't need to listen to any guru. You don't need to listen to any of these people. You can just think for yourselves. But this guy had a beautiful answer when asked by this child. Listen. Oh, that child. It's kind of loud. Oh, God. Please continue. Please continue.
Warum vegan essen und nicht vegetarisch?
Also why should we eat vegan and not vegetarian? Why vegan and not vegetarian?
We don't want to eat egg.
And just real quick, with this halting delivery style, it carries a lot of weight because he's not an English speaker, obviously, or mainly an English speaker, and you're just hanging on every word, and it just comes across with some gravitas, doesn't it? Like a little, you're waiting for the answers. Maybe Sadhguru should learn that. Instead of jumping to an answer, maybe he takes his time and thinks and uses that.
And drink cow's milk and eat cheese anymore because raising cows and raising chicken create a lot of suffering.
Also wir wollen keine Eier mehr essen und keine Kuhmilch mehr trinken und keinen Käse mehr essen, weil das Heranziehen von Rindern und das Heranziehen von Hühnern sehr viel Leid hervorbringt.
If you have seen how the suffering of the chicken, the suffering of the cows, and so on, you would not like to eat chicken, eat eggs, drink milk, eat cheese anymore.
Also wenn du mal das Leid der Hühner in einer Legebatterie oder der Rinder in einem Großstall gesehen hättest, dann würdest du von ganz allein keine Eier mehr essen wollen und auch keinen Käse und auch keine Kuhmilch mehr.
It seems that all the system has been contaminated.
Es sieht so aus, als sei das ganze System der Nahrungsversorgung davon infiziert.
Sorry, let me catch up. Mobius, this guru segment reminds me of that cartoon meme with the two booths, one with the sign that says convenient lies and the other inconvenient truths. Guess which line was vacant? Never saw that. But yeah. Thich Nhat Hanh is a based vegan Buddhist. So many pretentious Buddhists who callously eat meat.
So to be vegan is not perfect, but it helps reduce suffering of animals.
Also vegan zu essen ist nicht perfekt, aber es hilft sehr dabei, das Leid der Tiere zu verringern.
There are films made about the suffering of animals. If you have watched these films, you see.
Es gibt Filme über.
And he mentions films. Like, I wish he would have said which film. Earthlings, Dominion. But the contrast. And I love that David pointed that out in one of his videos because I didn't know who that guy was. All right, let's check out, well, let me link to the Sadhguru, and then let's check out the one Felix sent. Yeah, he died a couple of years ago, Thich Nhat Hanh, at the age of like 95 or older. Something like that. Can't remember how old he was. From paleo to plant-based, the unexpected journey of a vegan hater.
I was eating a lot of meat. A lot of my friends were paleo, and a lot of my friends were douche.
Guys, I've got a very special treat for you all today. I have come across. What can we?
A lot of my friends were paleo, and a lot of my friends were douche. Well said.
Call you an ex-meat flake in the wild. Let's say I've come across an ex-meat flake in the wild. Elton here, now with Anonymous for the Voiceless and a vegan for how long?
It's been 3 years now.
3 years vegan. Used to be one of these meat flake trolls.
Oh boy.
Not only
Oh
online,
boy.
but in real life.
And we didn't decimate
come on, give
him.
us
We let him still exist. And look what he became. There's probably a lesson in there. Some sort of lesson for us.
Give us an idea of what you were doing. Like, tell us a bit about what
I
was
think I've
going
seen
on,
this
man.
one.
Like, let's say for the example of in real life, there is a girl that was at my gym. I knew that she was vegan, and I like to make jokes all around here and there. And I remember one of those times I was used to eat at the gym, so I brought like a full chicken. Then I went to her with the full chicken, and I was showing her the chicken. I was like, "Yeah, look the meat. You like it? Do you want to try?" And stuff like that. So I used to do that kind of jokes. I remember even one time, like,
God, you sucked. You were the worst. That is a douchey thing to do.
Another vegan, there was some ants hanging around. I was crushing them. I was like, "Oh, does it hurt you when I'm crushing those ants?"
So you were like an abusive anti-vegan.
We can say, yeah. And
Like, physically and
everything,
psychologically.
yeah, everything that I was thinking at the moment that was funny, I was doing it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have that many examples because I didn't came across vegans that often.
Sure.
But online, it was something a little bit more consistent.
What were you doing online?
Well, when I was coming across videos where I was seeing vegan activists sending a comments about something, every time I could, I was saying that what they were saying, it was bullshit. They're going to be deficient and all those arguments that we tend to hear. So
And you're doing that consistently, you said, like a lot.
yeah. Well, now I'm consistently trolling the trolls.
Sure.
So I kind of changed the sides.
So like, let me ask you this.
Meat flake turns to the light side of the force. Did you have something to do with that, Jedi? Was that you? Or Felix? Felix said he has a twist to add on to this.
Back then when you were doing all this stuff, you can tell me honestly if I've got a theory, tell me if I'm wrong. Well, you tell me your answer now. Were you a happy or a sad person back when you were doing this to vegans all the time?
Well, it wasn't making me feel bad, I should say. That's the thing.
But in general, your life, was your life where you wanted it to be? Like what was driving you, I guess, is what I'm trying to understand here.
No, my life was pretty good. I didn't have really anything that was the reason of why I was doing it. It was more the fact that I was always online on websites and stuff like that. So I always loved to stay on computers. So when I was coming...
You were stupid. You were just a bit stupid. And it's okay, because we all were stupid at one point.
Up across these things, it was something that I was like, okay, why not say something funny?
So you were kind of like like you see those memes where it's kind of like those cave trolls in the basement on the internet. That was you.
I was in shape though. I was not like you see the one with the big belly and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a funny one.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I was kind of playing video games with friends and stuff like that. But even now, I love computers. I love to do a lot of stuff in computers. I also work in marketing, so I'm always in front of my computer.
So you went from being an anti-vegan.
God, what a loser playing video games. Such a dorky thing to do. After this stream, we'll probably do some cyberpunk, y'all. If you want to tune in for that.
Dork to a vegan dork, basically. I'm joking, man. I love computer games too. I'm just messing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No.
All right, and then what? So you were hardcore, right? You were doing all that horrible shit. The online stuff is annoying, but the real life stuff that's harrowing, man. That's horrible shit. What the hell changed? How did it go?
A lot of birds.
I think it's by doing that made me change, because that's the thing. When I hear vegans, activists, when I heard them saying certain arguments and I was going against it, then after that I was going to do some research. I was like, wait, is it what they're saying true? Then I realized that, oh shit, what he said on that part was true. But I was like, fuck it. but everything else is not true. Then I came up into different arguments. Then I started researching deeper and deeper. I was like, wait, why people go vegan instead of going vegetarian? Like vegan is extreme. So what's the difference? Then I went into smaller details, like why honey? This looks extreme. Then I saw videos of Ed explaining the honey process and stuff like that. Then I came up upon videos of Joy Carb Strong, and he was the one that I liked the most because I've seen a lot of his videos. And the reason that I
because I feel like the Ed videos and Joey videos are cited a lot by people as part of their coming to this. You know, they're, for me, I was already vegan when I started watching Ed and Joey, but they definitely strengthened my. I don't want to say strengthened my resolve because I was already resolved to be. They strengthened my skill set, I guess. Just listening to people debate is good for honing your own understanding.
I was argumenting with people online. That's what made me kind of realize the truth of things.
You wanted to prove them wrong, right?
Exactly. And I was like, for me, it was like, if 99% of the people eat meat, it means that the truth should stay behind these people, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I feel like I've gone. There's the glitch. Damn it. All right, there's the glitch. Yeah, I feel like I haven't gotten into it one-on-one with anybody in a while. And I think the last time that I got into it with someone was that they were someone who was vegan and they were talking to someone and they were just using all of this like woo-woo bullshit to make their argument. And I thought that they were doing a disservice. So I called them out and then got into a very long discussion about using incorrect information to argue for veganism. But it's been a while, and I feel like I have been very harsh on people, but it's compared to what I should say, it's pretty mild.
Right? It can be behind the 1%. The 1% should be the crazy people. Then I started realizing that, holy fuck, they're not wrong. They're pretty, they have it on point for pretty much everything. Then there was a point where I was like, okay, I think they are right, but fuck it. Who am I?
Jedi, didn't you say Earthling turned you vegan too? Earthlings? I feel like we took the same path almost. Pretty close. I could be wrong.
To make a change not gonna change anything. I'm one person. What is it gonna change in the industry? So this was kind of the last part for me.
And then how did you go? How did that last bit go away? And then you actually became vegan after that, right? So you were not convinced you could make a difference. What convinced you could make a difference?
The last step for me was like, okay, I was lazy. I didn't give a fuck. I was like, fuck it. I know that's the right thing to do, but there's like tons of right things that we're supposed to do that we still don't do it. Like
It was actually being called a hypocrite as a vegetarian that compelled me to look further into veganism and adopt veganism by a non-vegan. That's awesome. So yeah, they thought you were a hypocrite and you're like, I'll show you. I'll be a vegan level 5.
Supposed to sleep well enough, eat well enough, but am I going to change it? No, fuck it. So for me, it was kind of the same kind of a level.
Right.
Then that was the thing.
Ooh, he's got an Architect shirt on. I think that's the UK-based band. They just put out a album a couple months ago. Pretty damn good. And someone told me that a friend of theirs went vegan because of the Architects, which is I believe, all vegan bands. It's not like they're singing about veganism, but they happen to be vegan.
I watched a lot of videos, a lot of arguments about a lot of stuff. Then every time I was going to the grocery store, every time it was getting
Ooh,
hard.
he's wearing a Superman shirt. Superman is a superhero, I believe. Probably a vegan superhero that was popularized in the sometime during the 1900s, I'm sure. I'm just kidding, guys.
Harder and harder because I was overthinking everything. Then when I was buying my meat, I was thinking of the process that the animal went through. Then it was getting harder and harder. And there was a time where I was like, maybe I should do the change now. Why shouldn't I do the change now? I remember I will never
Earthling
forget
Bros.
that first day I became vegan. I was in the
Earthlings turned us to the Force. Jedi to the Force. Came to veganism through anarchy, without rulers, not Molotov cocktail throwing losers. My vegan origin story is kind of weird, LOL. Well, let's hear it. Oh, wait, no, you told us already. Yeah. No, I like it. I like that story.
grocery store
not
buying my stuff. I had my meat and everything. Then I was like, today should be the day. Why not?
Y'all, Jedi was here when I played the dramatic music and told my vegan story. If you're interested, look at my last stream, last vegan content reaction stream, and scroll all the way to the end. And Kane Defends Animals was right. The music was too loud. You could not hear me all the time, but it was dramatic. And I told about how I met that woman at that bar and how she challenged me to be a hero. And I became a vegan. Challenged me to watch Earthlings, and that's what happened. Yeah. And we talked about my first activism, which was a vigil. We didn't get into the vigil. I should have talked about how we'll do another take. We'll talk about the vigil.
Start going today.
More.
Then I was like, fuck it, I'm lazy. But at that moment, I will never forget that part. There was a switch when I asked myself, I was like, wait, because you're lazy, you're gonna kill another one. And laziness, something that feels as simple as laziness, is actually killing someone. Then when I thought that way, it disgusted me. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I removed all my meat and all my products, and I went right away for what I thought was vegan, and I tried to find the things, starting to read the labels and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? I'll try for a couple weeks. I'll see what it is. Maybe I'm going to realize that this was bullshit. I'm going to be like not in good health. Then I'm going to realize that what's the reason of why 99% stick to the meat and the 1% is still convinced of the wrong thing.
Right.
Then when I went deep into it, then I realized that, okay, tasty stuff, easy. So, and I was also, one of the things I realized that for my digestion, it was a lot easier too. I was like, holy fuck, like, why the fuck should I go back? There's no reason for me to go back. And at that moment, I started being vegan since that day. And I remember
Stop with the glitch.
from that day, I threw everything out of my fridge. I was like, I'll go.
Sorry, I couldn't see for a second. It was a great story, Mobius. A great story. A legendary story, if you will. Yeah, she was married. We talked about my great folly. Not looking for the ring, Mobius. So since you didn't get that pearl of wisdom, you might talk to a beautiful woman at the bar. If you don't look at her hands, you won't take her home, but you might go vegan. You might go vegan.
Go all in. Then since then, I've been vegan.
I'm sorry, that was crass. You might not get her number.
Sorry, man. Is that a lot to take?
It's because of cyberpunk. I've been conditioned to speak disrespectfully by that horrendous game that is anyway.
From it, you know? And I guess what's the reason you now stay vegan after that, all of that?
Well, for me, it was a big change. And it feels for me like I removed the weight on my shoulders. And by removing that weight, I feel better with myself. And also, I remember when I went vegan at first, for me, it was the right thing to do. But I didn't make it something. I was like, it's the right thing to do that everyone should do. But whatever. I was living with that. And I was not that much like talking with people about the fact that I'm vegan, but I like to kind of poke people because I was always like that. I was always too confident as a non-vegan, even as much as I am now as a vegan. So I like to poke people anyway. Before being an activist, I didn't even know that activism was a thing. I didn't know how to start or stuff like that. But it wasn't that much of a thing for me. But I knew that since that time, it was the right thing to do. And it wasn't like being healthy kind of stuff. It was like more like something that you need to do. It's a must.
So right now, so the reason you stay vegan is because you know it's the right thing to do. Why do you know it's the right thing to do?
Well, for me, it's like as simple as if I have a cow in front of me, should I stab the cow? Of course not. The reason there's no way that I would do it. But now, as a vegan, and that went through all this thinking process, it's like you can see it clearly. But when I was not vegan, you couldn't see the relation.
And even if you could stab a cow, you still think if you had the, if you had the mentality to be able to do that, it would still be the wrong thing to do, right?
Yeah, because there's no necessity to do it.
So they're innocent.
And that's the thing. Like usually, what I tell to people, like people tend to ask me, like, you might be too emotional as a person. You care too much. Like the alpha thing is like, don't give a fuck about animals. Oh, and that's the funny thing. Even more funny. Before being vegan, I was paleo. I was eating a lot of meat. A lot of my friends were paleo, and a lot of my friends were douche. And I'm still friend with them. Sure. And we can like still mess around. I poke them a little bit here. They poke me here and there. And when they say a funny joke, I laugh with them. Then I'm gonna poke them back. Yeah. So that's kind of the relationship that we have with them. And every time I talk to them, I'm like, there's no.
I'm going to start saying that now in the broken English way that he said it. A lot of people eat meat. A lot of people are douche.
Way I was on that side. I was exactly like them. But how come I made the change? And when I see at them, it looks like they're never going to make the change. How come? But I start realizing slowly by poking them, there's something triggering in their head. But they feel like, no, I'm too alpha male for this kind of crap. Which is a little bit
because obviously paying people to stab baby animals is the most alpha thing any man can do, right? Of course. What message would you have right now for any meat flakes out there? We call them meat flakes on the channel, but anti-vegan trolls who are sat there currently trolling this video as an ex-anti-vegan, as an ex-meat flake. What do you want to say to them? Down the lens, then. Let's give these meat flakes the message that you want to say to them.
In a certain point, you might think that what you're saying is funny, but at the end of the story, you're not on the right side of history. You're going to realize slowly, but realizing that you're wrong about pretty much everything you're saying. Yeah. You just need to take your time to realize that why vegans are a reason. There's a reason. Like a vegan, that's one of the things I like to say to people. A vegan is never born vegan. Now we're starting to have the first generation of people who were born vegan, but like I didn't wake up one day and told myself, you know what? I feel like going weird today. Let's go all in vegan. It doesn't just come up like that. There's a reason why vegans become vegan. Just take some time to do some research and to realize what the truth actually is.
And we can tell them where to go maybe as well. You want to tell them, is there anything you would recommend they look at?
Yeah, you can even try like Challenge 22. It's like an easy challenge. You can try like different recipes and stuff like that, or you can go see a activist like Ed Earthling, or the one that I like the most, Joey Carbstrong, and he talks about that kind of stuff, and you can realize also all the reasons of why someone's becoming vegan. You might think that you're right about some stuff until you realize that you take the time to read that, in fact, you're wrong. As simple as that.
You could also tell them about this other activist. This guy's pretty good. He's called David Rams.
Yeah.
Maybe you could tell them to subscribe to that guy as well. If that, could I?
Yeah, of course you should subscribe to this guy. So I like his content. He has really good content.
And guys, also there's one more thing I recommend you all go watch. It's called Dominion. It's right here on YouTube. It's a documentary. Basically, you'll see every reason why vegans go vegan, on top of all the reasons that Elton here just gave, and it'll just back all that up. So yeah, thank you, mate. Thanks for the talk, and stop being a little pissy meat flake.
Stop being a pissy meat flake. Indeed, indeed, he would not endorse that message today, but that's okay. Here's that video. Thanks for the recommendation, Felix. All right, Felix, let's hear it. Let's hear it. What's the big twist? Wait. I've got the music pulled up. About to tell our tale. Let's see what's a good twist.
Sorry about that. Come here, girl.
The Traveling Symphony.
Who are you? Oh, I'm Deadpool.
Royalty free. Hang on. This sounds twisty. Little twisty. Okay. Put it on. Gotta turn it way down this time. Felix says, Elton in the video is from Montreal, and in the past year started a large vegan social group to get vegans to become active. Effective this past Saturday. He is now one of my fellow organizers at AV Montreal. Nice. We need to stretch that. We should have stretched that a little longer. Okay, well, I'll go right into my tale. How long do I have? Another couple of minutes. All right. Okay, this is based Elton, by the way. Nice job, Elton. Montreal AV. Well, we'll talk about my first AV experience. But first, I told y'all, some of y'all, how I sped my vehicle over to that slaughterhouse, did this dramatic U-turn, skidded my way Tokyo Drift style into the parking lot, into my parking space perfectly. All the activists were just like, in fact, they were making sounds like this. That's how many people were there. Back in the day, activism was popping off. Walked up there, said, I'm here to join you at this vigil. They said, welcome, Jeremy. Here's a sign. How are you at holding signs? I said, watch me. Picked up that sign. We use this as a prop. What does that say? Make sure that's not anything I can't show. We'll do it without. Well, we watched some trucks go through, held up the sign. By the way, I'm not making light of vigils. You're serious. But at the end of the vigil, the organizer came up to me, said, Jeremy, I need to talk to you. I said, what is it? He said, Jeremy, I've been doing this a long time. Seen a lot of activists come and go. But I've never seen someone hold a sign quite like you did. Your steadiness, your fortitude. The wind blew, you held that sign steady. Jeremy, I think you've got what it takes. And I said to him, yeah, well, there's a lot more where that came from. Stay tuned. That's my first activism event. Let's see if this appropriately captures my first cube. No. Well, what do you think? It is kind of like being at a cube a little bit with all that, music from Earthlings and Dominion in the background, and Moby, and who is it? I don't know. Y'all know this. Y'all know the tunes. That's going to get serious, though. I don't know if I can dramatically do my first cube. I can try. Let's try it. Well, after my great success holding up that sign at the vigil, after receiving the adulation of my peers for the way I held that sign, I thought, let's take this and run with it. Let's go further. Let's not stop at one vigil. Let's see if there's an AV chapter. Sure enough, there was. I got in my car again. We'll pretend this is like right from the vigil. Obviously, it was another day, but we'll pretend it was right from the vigil. I got in my car. I sped off, doing 140 miles per hour. That's how serious I was. And you think I was being dangerous? Oh, no, 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 no. I was watching where I was going. Honed in on that parking spot. It was a busy day, too. People weren't expecting it. I swerved again, Tokyo Drift style, right into that spot. He's here. He's here. It's the guy we heard about at the vigil who held that sign. He's here. I got out of my car, swept my cloak over because, you know, at that point I was basically a superhero. Walked up to the cube. I said to the organizers, I'm Jeremy. I'm here to help. And they said, well, sir, we heard about what you did at that vigil, how you held that sign. Let's take things up a notch. Can you hold a TV? I said, that sounds like a lot. I'll give it a try. And they said, but first, put this mask on. So I put the mask on. Suddenly, nobody could tell who I was. I had the power of anonymity. Nobody judging me. Oh, and I held that sign. I mean, that TV. I held that TV like there was no tomorrow. I might as well have been a TV stand. And that day, I did no outreach because I was nervous. I just held the TV. But I watched a lot of people do outreach that day. And I ran out of music. But that's my story. All of it 100% factual. That's my story. Could y'all hear me that time? Okay. Cyberpunk already. I wish that there were more vegans where I live to do outreach with. I know there has to be more than just me, but in nearly 10 years, I've yet to run into any. Oh, that's sad. Well, you might just have to organize it and lead it yourself, huh? Living under Trump's dictatorship in the United States of North Korea, I'm seriously fearful that protesting or doing outreach might be classified as terrorism all over again. Free speech, yeah, is getting less free every day. Totally. And they're trying to sneak into this massive bill. I'm not sure what the status of it is. Because, you know, when you go on like social media, you're always getting these groups saying, send this email, send this thing. I've been trying to do that as I've been involved with my family lately. So I haven't really gotten a chance to do a ton of activism, but I could send an email anyway. But I've been sending, seeing all these things that are like, send this email, send that email. I think Switch for Good had pointed out that in one of the bills, they tucked in this provision that would allow Trump to get rid of nonprofit status for any group he deems a terrorist supporting organization. And as you all know, in the past, obviously, they've tried to label animal rights activists as terrorists. So, yeah, I don't know what the status is of that. But yeah, it's a good thing we have the great steady leader in Donald Trump that would never abuse power like that. It's a good thing. So, well, I don't know why you're worried. Why are you worried about this? If I can be vegan? Yeah, Tokyo drifted. Godspeed. Felix went to your first cube because the fur protest you were planning to attend was canceled due to intense rain. Desperate to do activism that day, and the cube was indoors in the subway. Nice, nice. The last cube that I did, and it was with Victoria, our friend Victorious Vegan. We were in the same city, and we did a cube outside of a subway, right outside. So we were getting people coming up from the metro station in DC. Family in Missouri, I know the feeling. Subway cube. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm surprised that y'all aren't more impressed with my story. I thought there would be a lot of like, wow, comments. Like, wow, that obviously was really something, the way you held that TV. I didn't used to do the outreach. Like when I first started, I was more timid. I kind of didn't want to talk to people. I think I'm pretty good at it now, but when I first started doing cubes, I would always want to hold the TV. I was not an outgoing person. So I felt like, well, I can sacrifice my back. Put these straps on me, I'll hold a TV for a couple hours. What's on the screen? The music. Okay. If anybody wants to tell, you could write it. You can tell your story, and I'll dramatically read it to dramatic music, if anybody would like that. No embellishment. You know, it has to be just like my story. It has to be 100% factual and accurate and verifiable. Like you can check my story out. Everything happened exactly as I told it. And many witnesses to that. Many witnesses. 9 viewers. That's a pretty high number for me. It's pretty high. So we shall continue. All right. What haven't we watched in a while? Who haven't we watched in a while? There's all kinds of stuff. Anybody got something? Oh boy. Man, why raw vegan diets are crap. That will upset some people. Let's do it.
Happy, healthy, vegan. So if you've been watching my videos over the years, you may have noticed I've made quite a few response videos to these why I'm no longer vegan video people. And if you've seen these videos, I'm sure you
There is a common thread between all those videos, isn't there, Ryan?
you've seen a common denominator amongst most of them, like I would say about 90% of them, is that they don't either eat any cooked food or they're just eating fruit. And some of these people are or were popular YouTubers and vloggers, and some you may have never heard of before.
Is
But
that
what
Paul
these super
Saladino?
YouTubers and influencers all have in common is that they went for extended periods of time, long-term raw fooders, years, some of them like 4 or 5+ years without any cooked food, and as a result ended up with various health problems, and then made these videos why they're no longer vegan. And it's arguable if they were even vegan in the first place, because veganism is not about eating uncooked food for the rest of your life. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. And it's unfortunate when these people make their why I'm no longer vegan.
And by the way, I'm sure that Ryan holds this position. I hold this position. If you are doing a raw vegan diet, power to you. If that's what you want to do. I think what he's getting at and what I have said is that there is this common denominator, as he just said, of a lot of people who quit a vegan diet, a plant-based diet, because they were doing like a raw plant-based diet. It's just very common. And it's just not required to be vegan to eat only raw food.
Vegan videos, you see all these anti-vegan people and just regular non-vegan people throw that in our faces as clear examples of how so many people are quitting a vegan diet, when the truth of the matter is most all these people were never on a proper, sensible, well-planned vegan diet. They were doing their own magical woo-woo diet. They were following this kind of crap.
Yeah, like I told you guys, I got into it with this claiming to be vegan guy. I'm sure he ate plant-based, but God, he was like spreading this nonsense on my turf. He was on my turf, spreading nonsense. I had to check him. Have I checked out John Rose, Epic Raw Vegan? His channel is J Rose Raw. I have not. Never heard of it. Some people know that controversy equals clicks. Yes, that's true. 100% raw is difficult to do, but likely the healthiest / most natural. Could be. I guess if these people are just really bad at doing it, but it's a lot of them. And I think that these are people who have like a weird relationship with food to begin with.
Basically, grains must be cooked in order to be consumed. And we create carcinogens and mutagens and teratogens that affect our offspring negatively. We create tremorogens and tumorigens.
Cooked food was the most recent thing I've had to overcome. The most recent addiction I've had to overcome.
Oh,
I
God.
never once, that I really remember, successfully overcame a craving when it came to cooked food.
Raw food is God's original intention for our biology. The number one reason why raw food heals all disease is elimination. All
Raw food does not heal all disease.
disease is caused from the accumulation of waste in the body. Call it inflammation, call it acid waste, call it poop.
See what I'm talking about there from this raw influencer, just complete nonsense propaganda, has nothing at all to do with animal cruelty and exploitation. It's very self-focused, very selfish. It's not about animals, it's about me and all these magical things that are going to happen. But that's besides the point. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I've learned a few things over the many, many years responding to these why I'm no longer vegan, raw, fruitarian type people. So I want to share with you why I think raw and fruitarian diets are dangerous and they just suck. All right, so before I totally jump into my argument here, I want to establish 2 points here before all you haters who love these raw diets start ripping into me. Well, you'll probably rip into me anyway, but one, I'm not saying every last single person who eats that way is going to fail. I'm just saying there's a really high chance you're going to fail on your raw diet, and there's a really high chance you might not even be vegan anymore, because most of these people, once they quit, instead of trying a balanced, sensible vegan diet for a change, they go into other new trendy fad diets like
Yeah, but that like someone pointed out in my chat just now. Who said it? Jedi. A bit of Jedi wisdom. Never vegan in the first place. They weren't vegan in the first place. They were following these, they were jumping from trend diet to trend diet. They're just dieter people. People who get focused on a diet. There's another guy in his 60s, looks 30s, raw vegan, claims to have been vegan about 20 years or so. There's room for health vegans along with ethical vegans. Silly to schism over that. Yeah, but I think in Ryan's defense and why he's making this video is because he has made so many reactions to ex-vegans. It's kind of his deal. He's one of the quickest on the draw when it comes to reacting to that. And so many of them have done raw vegan diet. Yeah, Mobius. Do you know the channel Totally Forkable? No, I don't. I don't know that one. Health vegans are better called 100% plant-based. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could. So here's a, well, okay. So if someone is plant-based and they also don't, consume animal tested products, they don't go to the rodeo, they don't wear, I guess technically you could still do all those things and still not really care about animals. I don't know. It'd be kind of odd. Anyway.
Carnivore and stuff. Secondly, I eat plenty of raw food. I mean, watch my videos that I've made over the years of banana smoothies. I've probably eaten more bananas than almost any of you guys watch. And I love starting my day out with a big fruit smoothie, especially after a workout. But I don't say eat only bananas or only raw food. I eat, a balanced, sensible blend of plants. All right, I don't put too much credit in stories like this. This is just an individual example, but we probably all heard the story about the raw vegan influencer who died. And I think this had more to do with anorexia, which isn't helped by eating.
She didn't drink water. She wasn't even drinking water, from what I heard. So, yeah, but okay.
An extreme and restrictive diet, which fruitarian diets are, but it's a bad look for vegans because, again, you see the word vegan influencer dies, vegan dies, and have to explain to people, no, they're eating a really weird, extreme and restrictive diet, which pretty much is nothing like how I and anyone else I know eats. And pretty much every time I see a story like this about vegan parents starving their vegan children, and sometimes
I think we can safely say that if you just consume a bag of these a day, you'll keep the doctor away, right? Smart Sweets. Kick sugar. Keep candy. New sponsorship, maybe? They're so good. They're really good to bring on hikes and things. They'll make you thirsty, though. They do have, like, that powder stuff on them. Makes you thirsty.
inadvertently.
Which, then you drink water. Unlike, I'm sorry, she died. But drink water. Y'all know that. Drink water.
Living them, and you dig
important.
a little deeper in the story, and they weren't eating a sensible vegan diet. Once again, they were following an extreme and restrictive raw diet. And to be clear, what I mean by extreme and restrictive is exactly that. Raw vegans and fruitarians intentionally exclude perfectly healthy.
Okay, I will check out Totally Forkable. I will do that. Gotten a lot of friction over people insisting veganism is a diet. Huh. Remember when vegan gays got irritated with a Whole Foods plant-based purist in her chat once? They just wouldn't let it go and she lost her patience. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's a good thing to be, a health vegan. I mean, it's good to also care about your health is what I mean. And makes you a good ambassador, especially if you can look good and I should hit the gym more so that I can better represent. Dr. Peter Rogers, 100% a health vegan. He doesn't care at all about animal ethics. Only that is the healthiest. Only what is the healthiest. Only that it is the healthiest diet for man. Thousands of carnists die every week. It's so common. It's not newsworthy. Totally. Yeah, heart disease. Non-vegans telling us what yeah. That, I find that very annoying. It's like someone arguing with me about what veganism is. Like, who do you think would know more? Someone who's not vegan or someone who's been vegan for like 7 years? It's pretty obvious to me. Distilled water. What was that? Remember that Star Wars movie? They milked some like alien and it was like some green milk. Not vegan. Not vegan. Wasn't that one of the recent ones? I saw that.
Food groups from ever being eaten, like legumes and grains and starches. I
Like
mean, us
blue.
regular vegans can eat the entire breadth of plants that nature offers, and you guys have restricted it down just a small subset of that. And that's why you're not getting the diverse array of nutrients that you probably need. And we'll get to that in a second. So, enough of my personal opinions, which, by the way, are grounded in critical thinking and evidence based information. Speaking of which, let's see what the peer reviewed scientific studies have to say about raw vegan diets. I could be totally wrong. Maybe they say they're totally cool. It's the optimal human diet for humankind. No, not according.
Well, Ryan, I know you wouldn't have been making a video if it wasn't backed up by the science. So we already know how this was going to go. The effects of a raw vegetarian diet from a clinical perspective, review of the available evidence.
According to this study, which was a systematic literature review of the available evidence to assess and investigate the effects of a raw vegetarian diet, and they said, based on our findings from the literature, a raw vegan diet with more than 90% raw food cannot be recommended for a long time due to micronutrient deficiencies as well as related complications. Oh, so related complications from eating a raw diet, a fruitarian diet, that's normal. And that
To be fair, I feel like I could have seen that language talking about vegan diet from some of these studies, but I am not good at reading studies. I rely on others who are much better at that than I am to break things down for me because I am stupid and I need someone like Ryan to help me.
to me, it totally explains why when we watch these, why I'm no longer vegan videos from like all those people that we saw earlier. That's why they have these health issues, because that's what the science says is quite normal. That you're
Thought
gonna
it
have some
was
kind
too,
of health
Jedi.
complications, and one of which is the inability to have your period.
Bad characters, like wimpy characters in all the latest Star Wars movies.
And one of
By
says
latest,
is
I mean
quite
recent,
normal,
the
that
the most
you're gonna have
recent.
some kind of health complications, and one of which is the inability to have your period anymore.
Every animal that we know of, other than humans, eats their food raw and they produce babies. What about humans? Here are the data from that German study. What we see is that as the amount of food eaten raw increases up to 100%, 50% of women by that point are amenorrheic. Their menstrual cycles have closed down altogether. This appears to be because they are short of energy.
I mean, that chart should be a huge wake-up call for all you hardcore, like total raw fruitarian people.
Well, that probably has to do with deficiencies of nutrients.
Higher the percentage of your diet that is totally raw.
So what he
the
just said.
odds are, it's not going to be true for every last person once again, but the odds are you're going to have some deficiencies, caloric deficiencies, nutritional, micronutritional deficiencies. And don't believe me, here's some further evidence. Let's talk about the good old-fashioned anti-nutrients. I mean, every time I see an anti-vegan bring up anti-nutrients, I laugh, because most anti-nutrients are deactivated once you start cooking the food, boiling, heating them up. But if you're eating your food raw, you might have some absorption issues with certain nutrients like iron and calcium because of the oxalates and phytates, which are still present in your food, your raw, uncooked food. Unlike mine, I cook them and the oxalates and phytates have become deactivated. And as a raw vegan or fruitarian, you can have further nutritional deficiencies.
So again, take what I say with a grain of salt, knowing that I am not a doctor or someone who's really even that, I'm not all that interested in the health arguments. I have read enough to be convinced that being vegan is a damn good choice for your body. I know that these are not a good choice for my body. They're not the worst thing in the world. The non-vegan candy would be worse for me, but this is not health food. Where was I going with that? Oh man, see, I'm losing my train of thought based on all these deficiencies. Oh, I was going to say, to my knowledge, what's harmful mainly about cooking is the way that we cook. What we put on the food to cook it. You know, like, do we load it with oil? Do we put oil in the pan before we heat things up? One of the things that I eat a lot, because it's a very simple ingredient list and very, very, very low in saturated fat and high in protein, are those Daring chicken strips. Daring chicken, the frozen, you get a thing Daring frozen, and it's just soy. It's like, and they're great. I put them in the oven. I don't put any oil on them. I put on a little sheet of aluminum foil on the thing, throw them in the oven, 450 degrees, put them in for 24 minutes. They come out crispy. There's no added oil. I think that's like when people are talking about the problems with cooking, and I'm sure there's more to it, but a big problem is like adding things like salt, oil, all these things to make things taste good, or not stick to the pan. So anyway, that's me on my soapbox. Nobody asked, but I told you anyway. Yeah. So anyway, if you want health tips from Jer, you just got some. Maybe I'll make health videos similar to how I made a cooking video, showed you all how to make a good gourmet peanut butter sandwich.
Depending on how hardcore you follow the propaganda. Not to say all raw vegans are like this, but I know there's a huge subset of you guys that believe that all nutritional supplements are unnecessary, they're bad, they're evil. We should try to live like apes, like from a million years ago, whatever you guys' weird theories are. That's an appeal to nature fallacy, by the way. The big point I want to drive home is no matter whether you're a raw vegan, a fruitarian, or someone like myself who eats a balanced, sensible diet, don't be afraid to take supplements, particularly a B12 supplement, because most likely you're not getting it in your diet unless you're having some fortified foods, which you're most definitely not as a raw vegan. The risk you run
Right. Good point. Because if you are eating Impossible nuggets and shit, you are getting B12 because they put B12 in them.
Supplementing with B12 is irreversible nerve damage. So don't screw yourself up for your future and have brain damage for the rest of your life by being an ignorant person right now. So my plea to all you raw vegans and fruitarians, if you care to be eating plants, to be vegan, at least eat some kind of vegan diet in the future, your best odds are not to be a raw vegan and fruitarian, because your kind has a horrible track record, not only maintaining just raw veganism or fruitarianism, but just staying vegan over the long term, as evidenced by all those response videos from raw vegans and fruitarians that I've been responding to for years. Yeah, sure, some people who quit weren't raw or fruitarian, but they're in the minority. So what should you do if you want to be vegan for the rest of your life, as I want to? I would say don't be raw or fruitarian. That's the worst thing you can do. That lowers your odds crazily. I would strongly suggest following what the scientific literature says to do as far as eating a healthy, balanced, sensible vegan diet. You're not going to find these kinds of
Yeah, I met this guy. I like him a lot. He's a friend of mine. I would call him a friend. We worked together, and he had been vegan, quotes, in his past, and he stopped. And I was trying to talk to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I was eating just fruit." I'm like, "Well, no shit, you stopped. Like you were malnourished." I tried with him. I tried to get through to him. I don't understand. And what surprised me about this particular person, so kind, so nice, didn't extend that to animals. I don't get it.
Recommendations from health organizations recommending that you give up all cooked food. And my question to you is, why in the hell would you want to do that? You know, it's a bunch of nonsense when people say crap like this.
Our body composition is amazing. Our absorption is on point. Our gut health is on point. You can't have autoimmune and inflammation issues and weight gain when you eat raw vegan.
I almost did a facepalm when he mentioned gut health, because gut issues seems to be the number one problem that these fruitarians and raw vegans complain about when they make their "why I'm no longer vegan" videos. So anyway, I want to just say I'm not throwing any hate at raw vegans or fruitarians. I might be throwing a little bit hate to people like that, these leaders, these raw vegan leaders who just spread such non-evidence-based falsehoods and just give people this false sense of what the magical things that are going to happen to you. This guy's even said you can reverse every disease known to man on a raw vegan diet. I mean, it's just complete hucksterism, and too many people believe this. Maybe they're suffering from some health issues and they're looking for some hope, and these leaders, raw leaders, give them that. And it's just so morally irresponsible. So follow what the science says, as opposed to these untrained hucksters and raw gurus who are not following evidence-based information, just selling you their tutoring, their courses, their, what's that called, coaching. Yeah, this guy charges like as much as my attorney costs, and it takes no schooling to like teach people how to drink juice and not eat food. Anyway, guys, if you think I'm full of crap and raw is the greatest thing in the world and I'm going to die and get mucoid plaque because I'm eating steamed broccoli, please come and tell me this Friday or any Friday at my live streams, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just don't be an a-hole. Be cool, be chill, be civil, and we can have a conversation about this, all right? So until next time, guys, remember, doesn't suck being vegan.
All right, good video, Ryan. I enjoyed it. And I gotta say I agree with him. Sorry, honest doubter. I've seen all those videos. I've seen all these like ex-raw vegans making these videos about how they had to go back, and like as Jedi said, they were never vegan to begin with, because they weren't ethical. Like they were just trying to diet. But yeah, I don't know. Was he cherry picking? I don't know. I don't really know. There's definitely a lot of examples. There was one came across my feed the other day too, why I'm no longer vegan after 5 years, but I refuse to click those fucking videos because people, they get social currency from it. They switch a diet and then they get a bunch of clicks from the people who hate on the previous diet, or they get rage clicks, right? Like I would have given them. I'm not going to play that game. I am not giving you that rage click. I will wait until Ryan or Richard or someone makes a video about it so I can give them the view. I'm not going to give you my clicks, you ex-vegan. 75% raw. Well, that's reasonable. Sounds reasonable to me. I think there's just, if you're doing veganism for the animals, then there's no reason to make that harder, right? I don't know. If you want trying to get the health benefits of that, then yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I wouldn't make it harder. The way I restrict is just try not to cook with too much oil, because I'm gonna eat my candy. Okay, I'm gonna eat my candy, so I don't need to be eating this and my Unreal peanut butter cups and my plant-based Reese's and my So Delicious ice cream and my vegan cheesecake and my vegan cookies. And anyway, you get the point. I don't need to be doing that. And then slathering all my daring chicken in oil. The schisms between plant-based and vegan camps is self-defeating and ridiculous. Allies, I disagree. Not allies. I would not call them allies, because they often become the people who do this kind of stuff and start throwing veganism under the bus and start, going on TV shows and claiming that a vegan diet nearly killed them, because they nearly killed themselves restricting their diet in such an extreme way that it's not helpful. I think that's what's not helpful. I wish I could say they were allies, but I mean, I'm saying like it's great that they're eating plant-based while they're doing it, but they're typically not going to do it for very long. Zero, 0.001%. Well, it's been pretty common for me to hear when someone stopped being plant-based that they were doing some weird thing with their diet. And they were on some kind of like diet fad, hopping to different things. And I don't know, because I was a carnist. I wasn't someone who dabbled in plant-based eating, and by that point should have had plenty of information coming at me that taught me about ethics, and then decided, nah, don't care about that. I don't know. Sometimes that's like saying like the vegetarians are more our allies than the carnists. Are they? I don't know. Maybe, not really, because a lot of times they're even more defensive because they feel like they've already done enough, you know? It's kind of like all the liberal lefties that I've worked with over the years, which I'm a liberal lefty, by the way, but a lot of them like to pat themselves on the back, and then they become oftentimes the most aggressively defending their eating animals of anybody. Granted, we did just watch Charlie Kirk choke on himself trying to debate a vegan, so obviously the right wing does it probably even worse. Yeah, they probably do. 99-1, I'd let a plant-based person in to defend the castle. Well, they can defend the castle, but they're going to get called out hardcore by Ryan. And when they go back and start claiming a vegan diet almost killed them, and they should be called out. So absolutely, they should be called out. And I know you're not saying that they shouldn't be. You're saying don't throw all the raw vegans under the bus along with them. But yeah, I get what you're saying. A lot of these plant-based people are the pick-me vegan. They are. Anyone who doesn't exploit animals but plant-based still exploit animals, whereas vegans are necessarily plant-based. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we definitely need those allies at the table. You're right about that. Honest doubter, I don't think you're more likely to convert a plant-based person to ethical veganism than a carnist, because we've seen the evidence of this. The plant-based people, not only do they not convert to ethical veganism, they blame veganism on their health issues when they get a tummy ache. Look at fucking I always forget this guy's name. Always forget. Cosmic Skeptic. Now, at least Cosmic Skeptic still agrees that factory farming is bad, but he literally went on there and said that tummy ache made it so he couldn't stop exploiting it. Like, I don't want people like that speaking for animal rights. Like, he embarrassed us in front of Michaela Peter. He simped for Michaela Peterson. Oh my God. Now he's not the you're talking about the rare few who bitch on YouTube to say all these ex-vegans are plant-based is silly. Well, they are. If you're vegan, yeah, if you cared about animal rights, you wouldn't stop caring about animal rights. And then so yeah, I don't really believe that you were vegan. It's not like you there may be a few people who actually cared about animals and then stopped caring about animals. But I mean, in that case, fuck them even more, you know? They're like the worst. And I know some people like that. And I don't understand. I can't for the life of me understand activists who have like been on the front lines and gone back to eating animals. Ooh, promise me this, guys. If I ever come here on my channel on any day other than April 1st and tell you all that I started eating animals again, destroy me. Please, God, destroy the shit out of me. I give you that power, especially you Jedi, because you have the Jedi power. That's all right if we differ on that, Honest Stouter. I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough to disagree with me and tell me so. Yeah, I met a guy said he was vegan, but not for the animals. Yeah, that's not vegan. It's not vegan, and it's not gatekeeping, the word. It's not. It's just is what it is. It takes a special individual to revert from activism to eating animals again, the lowest of the low. I think it says something about what they were doing the activism for. Now, there are a few really baffling cases to me, and obviously I'm not going to name their, I mean, they deserve to be named. I'm not going to do that, but there are some just complete head scratchers for me. So yeah, but that is a truly baffling phenomenon to me, that there are people who do activism. I think that a majority of the people who are doing activism were doing it like a fashion, like they were wearing it like punk rock, basically. No, I'm not going to name them because they're actually, I'm not going to name that. Well, for one, I just don't think that would be appropriate. But one of the main reasons, I'll name Erin Janus. Yeah, she can go fuck herself. But the people that I'm not going to name are because I'm not that close with them, and I understand that people that I am close with are close to them, and I don't know. It's just not my place to do it. It's not my place to do it. The people close to them can do that. They're not like household names or anything. Oh, yeah. Takes a special individual. Yeah, I'm sorry, I read that already. Carnism debunked. Exposed quite a lot. Erin Janus. Yeah. Erin Janus, that is incredibly disappointing. I should say, when I said fuck Erin, like, I actually don't know any of this firsthand. I did see Carnism Debunk talk about this. So I actually don't know, and I shouldn't say things about stuff that I know like third, fourth hand. But it does seem to me like it's warranted. And yet, no, just because you made a video that influenced a lot of people does not mean that you are better for the animals. I know some people will make that argument too, like, oh, some of the carnies have done more for animal rights than any vegans have done. Yeah, sure, that doesn't make it okay what they're doing to animals now. Yeah, well, Ryan didn't say that. He said the vast majority of them are, and the vast majority of them have been, that were like the YouTube influencers, and that's who he's talking about. Because that's what he does. He makes those videos. Let's see if there's anything more to react to. Maybe I'll just end the stream here and might play some Cyberpunk here in a bit. I know I can count on Jedi to possibly pop in. But what about the rest of you? What about the rest of you? Not sure if I'm going to do that or not. I should definitely eat some food other than my candy. Totally forkable? Okay. All right, let's do a totally forkable real quick. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Totally forkable. Good vegan news. Oh, okay. Let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Marielle for Forkable News. Things have been
I
a
might
bit
have seen this.
chaotic here at Forkable headquarters. More on that another time. Needless to say, we here at the network could really use some good news, and if you could too, you're in luck. With that, let's get right into today's good vegan
This is kind of like Onion approach a little bit,
news.
or Daily
Welcome
Show.
back to Studio 1F. First up, cultivated pet food made from mouse cells gets EU approval.
Cool.
BioCraft's pet food ingredients have passed rigorous EU testing.
Nice.
Vienna-based BioCraft Pet Nutrition has successfully registered its cell-cultured pet food ingredients with Austrian authorities, meaning the company can begin supplying companion animal food producers throughout the European Union. BioCraft Pet Nutrition was founded in 2016 by its CEO, Shannon Falconer. Her stated vision was better nutrition for cats and dogs that doesn't come at the expense of other animals or the health of our planet. I've heard many vegans say they couldn't care less about lab-grown meat as it pertains to human food, but that they can't wait until it's available as pet food. Well, that day seems to be closer than ever. BioCraft states that biocrafted meat is produced from a single sample of cells from a single animal, which is enough to produce meat forever. We also don't need any animal products to grow the cells. No fetal bovine serum here. This feels like a huge stride in companion animal care, and if it's approved in the EU, I have hope it's only a matter of time before it's approved in other countries as well. Speaking of things that
Like America, because we've got all that pro-science leadership right now.
are light and fluffy, Hippies launches vegan cheesy cheddar pops, or to put it in layman's terms, cheese balls. US-based snack brand Hippies has announced the launch of a new vegan-friendly product, Cheesy Cheddar Pops. According to Hippies, the Cheesy Cheddar Pops are light and airy with a melt in the mouth
Well, we need some kind of news, I suppose.
texture. Suitable for adults and children alike, they can be purchased from major retailers. With Cheesy
Here's
Cheddar
some
Pops, we
news.
set out to reimagine the classic cheese ball, bringing up Mr. Charlie's
Mr. Charlie's. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No raw foodists are going to be eating at Mr. Charlie's, that's for sure. Mr. Charlie's is the shit. When I was out in San Francisco, we had a Mr. Charlie's right across from the office, and that was dangerous. That was bad news. I ate too many French fries and too many vegan burgers. Basically, Mr. Charlie's is the vegan McDonald's, and they were right across from an actual McDonald's. And more people were going in the actual McDonald's. It was depressing.
His plant-based fast food chain accelerates U.S. growth with 18-store expansion.
Wrong
in
state,
Arizona.
though. I mean, good for Arizona. What about the rest of us?
It was just our last broadcast when we had a sort of general puff piece about Mr. Charlie's, and now we have some serious good news. Mr. Charlie's Told Me So, the globally inventive plant-based fast food brand with a mission-driven ethos, announced its largest expansion deal to date, a multi-million-dollar development agreement to open 18 locations across Arizona in partnership with exclusive area developer Patrick Lamb. This move marks a major milestone in Mr. Charlie's nationwide franchise rollout and introduces the brand's crave-worthy feel-good menu to the Southwest for the first time. Bringing Mr. Charlie's to Arizona is more than a business move, it's a mission, said Patrick Lamb. We're not just opening 18 stores, we're planting the seeds of something bigger. These restaurants will be hubs of community, second chances, and delicious food. As an Arizonian, I'm proud to help redefine what
I'm excited, but I'm also wary because it's kind of like if you've been following, like, what's that comedian's name? Damn, I'm blanking on names. He had a vegan food chain that all of a sudden just closed all their restaurants just instantly. Forget his name, whatever. But sometimes these optimistic expansions end up in dramatic failure. I hope that's not the case with Mr. Charlie's. I mean, they must be doing their research. Wonder why they chose Arizona.
fast food looks like in the state, and to do it with a brand that stands for something real. At a time when vegan restaurants across the country are struggling, seeing one expanding to 18 new locations almost feels like, well, a typo. A delightful typo, but a typo nonetheless. Arizonians, get ready for some delicious food coming your way, and I look forward to seeing how this expansion goes. Next up, new
Kevin Hart. Thank you guys.
documentary follows incredible 87-year-old
Okay.
vegan ultra runner
All right.
Paul Yude. An upcoming short film will follow 87-year-old vegan runner Paul
short
Yude
film.
as he attempts to complete
I mean, great. Yeah, but we need the blockbuster.
100 ultra marathons before his 100th
Short film's not
birthday.
going to do that.
More Like Paul is directed by Damien Skibaris of Shortstop Films, a Devon-based
Still cool.
impact filmmaker who
Not.
has been working on the
I'm
documentary.
not shitting on it. I'm just saying I'm hopeful that we get the big breakthrough. We need the big breakthrough movie, whatever it's going to be. I feel like we've teetered on the edge of it with some of those Seaspiracies, that have blown up on Netflix. I'm still really disappointed that we don't have something like Earthlings or Dominion on Netflix or Prime or whatever for free. Like if you have the subscription, you can watch it. So you'll come across it.
Yude is an experienced runner and fundraiser and completed a 31-mile ultra-distance marathon in March to raise money for
What's going on with the Game Changers sequel? I feel like I was hearing about that years ago, that LeBron James had signed on, and I haven't heard a word about it since.
animal rights charity Viva. And I was proud of myself for going on a 2-mile run around the block. I want to do as much as I can for the animals, said Yude
She's
in the
good.
trailer. Speaking to the BBC, Yude said that he felt no pain from his previously debilitating osteoarthritis after adopting a vegan diet 20 years ago. Yude completed his first ultra in 2021, the 62.1-mile Devon Coast to Coast, and is also challenging himself to do 1 million press-ups, that's push-ups for us Americans, before he turns 90 years old. I'm as healthy as I've ever been, I'm as fit as I've ever been, and I am living my best life, said Yude. I'm on no meds, and I want to keep going as long as I can. I challenge you to watch this trailer without crying. This man is a total badass and inspiration, and I think we could all be a little more like Paul. What's that, honey? No, not you. Sorry.
We'll watch it. We'll watch the More Like Paul trailer. And we'll see if we can do it without crying. Wait. She challenged us. She basically called us bitches.
Sorry.
Y'all heard that,
You're
right?
great too, though.
Huh?
No, not you. Sorry. You're great too, though. Moving on.
All right. She challenged us. Are we men or are we boys? I don't think there's been any women in my Alicia was here. So this has been a male. Do I have that right? Actually, I don't know everybody's gender. It's been dominated by the men today. It's been very patriarchal. Very patriarchal. Shame on all of you. Shame on all of you and me. All right. Let's see if we can get through without crying.
Ambition to do 100 ultramarathons by my 100th birthday.
Let me start over.
I've got this ambition to do 100 ultramarathons by my 100th birthday. That's 6 a year. If I do that for the next 13 years, that should be roughly near 100.
He's 21 years old, this guy. Don't be fooled.
I'm not running at the moment because I broke my leg last year. I went down in a screaming heap. Going back to the Thames Path this year is unfinished business. I really want to do that 100. I do it for the animals. I want to do as much as I can for the animals.
Yes.
People use the word compassionate, but I prefer the word respect. We should respect the life of an animal. The first ultramarathon I saw, instantly, I just saw the pitch. I thought, I've got to do that. I've never walked through the night before, so that's going to be a new experience. If you're never uncomfortable, you never step out of your comfort zone, you never know what you can do. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. I just felt so alive. Animals are here with us, not for us. I'd like to see a world without cruelty. Animals are not ours to use. Every day I wake up, I want to increase the amount of well-being in the world. And that could be done overnight if everybody went vegan. We can all do more than we think we can. I found out, yeah. I'm as healthy as I've ever been. I'm as fit as I've ever been. And I am living my best life. I'm on no meds. And I want to keep going as long as I can until I just don't wake up one morning.
I didn't cry, but I was moved. I was moved by that. All right, who cried? Own up to it. Own up to it. There's the trailer. Take care, Honest Doubter. Thanks for being here. All right.
Massive Attack's upcoming co-op live concert to serve 100%
Awesome.
plant-based food.
I knew
Co-op
that.
Live Arena has
I feel like I get all this news already from my social media feed. However, it's nice to see it compiled and implanted into my brain in a way that is like taking an opiate.
has announced that the upcoming Massive Attack concert will serve only plant-based food to underscore their shared mission of sustainable live entertainment.
Everyone
They're
should do
scratching their
that.
head and saying,
Everyone.
Massive Attack? Who the fork are they? You wouldn't be alone. While I had heard of them, I couldn't quite place their music. That is, until I heard the song Teardrop, which of course I was familiar with. You probably know it too. This song is so 90s, it hurts. And I of course mean that as a massive compliment. No pun intended. Manchester's Co-op Live Arena, which is the
I was worried they were going to do copyright stuff on us.
UK's largest indoor music venue, announced the 100% plant-based food menu earlier this month. The 23,500 capacity venue will utilize 7 kitchens across 3 levels to prepare the dedicated plant-based menu, which includes an unbelievable amount of delicious sounding food. I was just at an event at TD Garden in Boston, and if I hadn't managed to sneak in a massive stash of snacks stuffed into the
I can't remember if I cried when I watched Earthlings. I don't know if I cried, but I was definitely impacted, obviously. I might have. I probably did. I've definitely teared up a few times watching even just the intro of Dominion, the 4 or 5 minute intro. I think I tear up on the intros because they're so beautiful. Yeah, sometimes the things that are sad don't make me cry as much as something that is beautiful and powerful like that. Then I might cry. Like I should have cried for this film, but I felt my manhood was being challenged by this woman. She put me on the spot in front of you, Jedi and Felix and Honest Doubter, and boy, that was a high pressure situation.
Pockets of my puffer, I'd have had no choice but to fork over $14 for what can only be described as the saddest slice of pizza anyone has ever seen. Massive Attack seems to be highly dedicated to sustainable performances, and I'm so glad a plant-based menu is a part of that. Only in the UK, am I right?
Yeah.
Next up, a story I thought I'd
I feel
never
you.
see. Beyond Meat launches new unbreaded vegan chicken pieces.
UK.
Now, if you're thinking to yourself,
Us Americans, we know when we're beat, right? UK's got us beat so bad. Everything, it's like they've got a McPlant in the UK, but they don't have Mr. Charlie's. How about that, UK? You don't have Mr. Charlie's, do you? For all I know, they do have Mr. Charlie's.
what gives? What's so great about this news? It will make sense in a minute. Beyond Meat has launched, quote, all new unbreaded vegan chicken pieces in the US. The California-based brand announced the launch of its Beyond Chicken pieces at more than 1,900 Kroger stores nationwide on May 1st. Beyond Meat said that the launch was a direct response to fans requesting the return of unbreaded vegan chicken, which was one of the brand's first ever products. Those who
Ooh,
have been
I didn't
forced
hear
for
that
years will
one
know how much
down
this
there.
story means to me. You see, I was an ultra fan of Beyond Meat's first ever product, their chicken strips, and have lamented their discontinuation many times over the years. I basically didn't shut up about it from
Not to be a complete buzzkill, but I hear that things aren't going that well for Beyond Meat. And Eat Meaty are mycelium steaks. Not too good. Not too good. Sorry to be the bearer of less forkable news.
2019 until around, well, never. I can't begin to tell you how delicious and versatile they were. I ate them in stir fries, salads. I'd throw them on a sheet pan with fries and bake until crispy and eat them.
Well, you don't need to. I don't see any reason why you need to. I'm talking to you if I can be vegan. I don't see any reason why someone who's already ethically vegan needs to subject themselves to torture if they are already have all the information and the ethics. Only reason I watch them for myself, obviously, and then I end up showing them to people. So I've seen it quite a few times.
Like chicken tenders. There was a barbecue
Both
chicken
of
pineapple
them.
pizza I was
More so Dominion.
particularly fond of
Anyway.
making. My mock meat hating boyfriend even loved them. And while these I actually wrote hold a handle in my script, but I clearly meant candle. I don't think they'll hold a handle either though. Be kind of hard for a piece of chicken to do that. Who knows if they'll hold a candle or a handle to the original. And it is a little let me know
She's
if
pretty
you're
funny.
excited
I
about
like
this
her.
news. Next up, University
Did I hear this? Okay, this is good. I thought she meant all animal testing. That's what it says down here.
of Arizona stops
Good
animal
step.
testing.
Good step.
Arizona coming
We
through
will
with not
not
one but two good vegan news
buzzkill
stories.
this news.
I hardly believe it. The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine announced that the University of Arizona College of Medicine
PCRN.
Tucson has replaced animals in its
That's
surgery
from,
training
Neil
program.
Barnard.
It first urged the medical center to replace animals in 2020. U of A's decision means that general surgery residents will no longer cut into live pigs as part of their training. Instead, they will now learn using methods that replicate human anatomy, like medical simulators and cadavers, joining 222 other medical centers across the US and Canada that have replaced animals in surgery programs or never used animals in the first place. This is a victory for the animals and the residents, who will now receive 21st century medical training, said John Pippin, MD, FACC, Director of Academic Affairs at PCRM. We applaud the university for making the humane and educationally correct choice. While I love all my good vegan news stories equally, it's undeniable that some feel just a bit good newsier than others. And it's undeniable that this is one of them. I mean, it's hard to compete with the hippies' cheese balls, but somehow they've managed to do it. Thank you to everyone who
Not a
helped
huge
make this
cheese
decision
ball
happen,
person,
and
so
thank you to
I'll be okay.
PCRM for
I'm probably not
letting
going
up
to
on
try
this
that.
issue. And that's all of
I do the vegan Rob's puffs sometimes. Those are cool. I just like that it says "Go Vegan" on the top of the bag, and it's called Vegan Rob's.
our stories.
Nice delivery she's got. All right, W channel. I approve. That was your recommendation, right, Jedi? Good job. All right. I linked to the video. You guys go like and subscribe it. Like and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so that you're notified when I'm live, because otherwise you might miss some of the incredible, insightful wisdom that I share. It's, amazing. We know it's amazing. I'm coming up on a year of the channel, coming up pretty soon. So I might have to do something kind of special. I'll let you guys know. But anyway, I'm going to end the stream here. Might game later, might not. It got a little later than I expected. So look out for it. You get the notification, the bell thing. and then you'll know. And then you'll know. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a good night. And what does Ryan say? It doesn't suck being vegan. Keep making those vegan gains. What are the other outros? Thanks for watching. Someone did thanks for watching. Yeah, I'm glad you've been here, Mobius. Thank you. The way I usually end my streams is, oh, wait, where's that button? Sorry, hang on. This is my, you can't steal this now, okay? Here's how I end the stream. End stream. There it is. I think that did it. Whew, man. Oh, that was rough. I had to put up with Jedi and Mobius. Oh God. And Felix. Oh, they're the worst, those guys. Oh, every time I sit. Also, you guys come here for the great acting, right? Take care. Good night, guys.